Thanks for passing that around. Hi, Eliza. I see you on Zoom.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. I have a sick kid at home, so
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. But I have a kid who's pretty sick, so even if I'm asymptomatic, I want to risk passing it on to anyone.
Thank you. Cassandra is going to be coming and she's going to manage the Zoom a little bit more. It will be a little bit of a tricky session because it's going to be pretty hands-on. But we'll do our best and just holler if you're like, I can't hear you. We all moved and we can't see you. Just try to keep me accountable for that. And I think there's going to be somebody else joining you. So.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Nice. Who had the sign-in sheet? Did somebody? You want to sign in Eliza and Marielle? You got it. You're on it.
Thank you.
Hi, Marielle.
Hi, Maureen. Do you speak French?
No, just
You're Maureen.
I am Maureen.
I'm Naomi.
Naomi.
I heard good morning.
Good morning also. It's some different time and some different place. I'm just coming from work.
No, I did just a lot. Since an 80-hour week.
Oh,
It's a new job.
80? Like
A lot.
double that now?
Mm.
Probably more.
Good morning, Alex. Well, nice to see you.
Yesterday was hot.
Mike, I'm going to do my best.
It's installing 3, 7,
Okay.
4.
Are you guys usually more than this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Expand. Well, should we start? Because it's on time. We'll like 2 minutes. 2 minutes of leeway.
Cassandra said she was gonna be pulling up right at around.
Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a message from her too.
Garage or something like that.
Oh, is that what it
Sign her, please.
The weather.
Carolyn.
Oh yeah, and Estefania is also on Zoom. Hi, Carolyn and Estefania, welcome.
Carolyn. All right, then Estefania.
You can't see the video well. Is that true?
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah, it's like blurry. I think a couple of us mentioned that, but like right now you're very crisp. We can see you.
Okay. I'm getting a little like internet instability messages, but I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So
yeah, and the audio is great. So
audio is great. I'll just try to talk a lot.
Perfect.
I'll try to use my words well.
For this class,
But Cassandra's also going to come in with a different device and maybe it's better. So we'll see, but keep me posted.
Okay.
All right, should we start? Latecomers will be latecomers. Yeah, cool. Pete gave me a lot of information. We're going to do our best. We're going to like charge through some stuff. We're not going to get to it all. We have 5 sessions together. So yeah, let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Maureen. I teach at the other studio, at the MLK studio, and have my own little yoga business where I teach in schools and in workplaces and work a lot with private clients and small groups. And I kind of keep it very loose and diverse. And I like that. It keeps me entertained. I don't know. I think it's kind of can be interesting as you're all embarking on this yoga path to hear about different people's trajectories in yoga and the way that we balance. What's this? Okay. So our session today is alignment and assists. I think we have 3 sessions kind of carved out for that. And then we have 2, which are going to be a lot more like content based, which are like anatomy, where we're going to talk about biomechanics and bones and muscles and tissues and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit the chicken and the egg. It's hard to talk about assists and alignment when we haven't talked about the body, but we're going to try to do our best. And there's going to be questions that come up, and I'm going to say, let's table it and wait until we have the skeleton. And so we're going to come at it from a couple different perspectives these next few sessions that we have. A little bit about my background. I took PT teacher training like, I don't know, 12 years ago. My kids are in high school and they were like babies then. So, and I've done and other people probably started about 25 years ago. And I studied Sanskrit and Hindi, and it's funny to think back on that because Ting, you were in my class the other day, like I almost can't. My
We lost.
Oh,
Oh,
she's back.
yes, right? Okay.
oh,
Hi.
we're back. Hopefully, it was just an introduction. Nothing super important. Yeah, and I think it's helpful, like as you have guest teachers to hear about all our different iterations of yoga. That's what makes it beautiful. No, actually, yeah.
I just messaged Ting.
She said Cassandra's going to come with another device.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird because the connection hasn't been such a problem the previous week.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean
She's
technology
back.
does weird things.
Okay. Thank you. Mm.
Naomi, I'll be curious. A lot of yoga studios nowadays don't have mirrors in them. That was something that I used to see back, and then I used more like mirrors, and then they were like, okay, got rid of the mirrors so you can be more not look like obsessed with what you're looking like or looking out. But then that means that it's harder to kind of see what the body's doing. Like, prevention, but for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I,
Can you guys hear this at all on Zoom?
We can hear
Can you
you.
hear?
We can hear, but we can't. The video is frozen.
They can. Can hear me. Okay, everyone else speak up. I was just asking if you did catch this. Why do assist?
yeah, it's like to encourage about the mirror yoga here. I rarely see.
I in Mysore, I had somebody come over, and I feel like, at this point in my practice, I feel like I know where my limit is. Sometimes people can find that there's more range, but I had someone crank me so hard, and I was like, I don't like that. Yeah. I've also experienced, and especially in classes where there's like a lot of assists, that at times, like students, I've seen this from the outside mostly. I feel like there's sometimes this like, oh, I want this teacher to come give me an assist. And you're kind of like waiting for that attention. And that for me is a big drawback to offering assist. Because ultimately, like as a teacher, what I want my students to feel is to find it in their own bodies, right? To not need that external validation, to not even need to be in a public class ultimately, but just to like be able to drop in and find center and move their bodies and find alignment. And of course that happens gradually, and we need support along that pathway. But I think it's also interesting just to like remember that it's, for some people it could be triggering. Obviously, some people don't want to be touched at all. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is not working, huh?
No, it is.
It's working.
Yeah,
Turn it off on.
I just need to, I'm not good with Zoom. Can you help me out here?
just to see, like, is it, because I felt comfortable talking to you.
I,
Correctly.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Did I? Oh, I did? Okay.
yeah, we're good. Can you just point us at Maureen for the time being?
Yes, okay, looks like we're good then. Okay, I just need to make
Thank
sure
you.
it's there.
Why don't we just sit right over here?
Okay.
Sorry, you guys.
Okay.
The connection seems to be better now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we want to put it up? Does it help to, we normally have it on a little block or something. I don't know, so.
This is breaking all my rules.
How's that? How is
I
that?
generally
Yes.
don't like to do multimedia stuff.
Thank you
Alright.
so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Appreciate the flexibility.
Okay, what are the different ways that we can assist people? Cueing, like verbally. Like I can walk up to you and say like, hey, Laura, bend that right knee a little bit more. Yeah, so you can use your words. What else?
And
You can touch them, you can use your hands, right? We can like show people physically how to find a certain spot alignment, sensation. Yeah,
Sort of demoing next to them.
totally. Yeah. And each of these is going to resonate with different people differently. Like sometimes it's really nice to have that mirror, that outside mirror showing you what, what they're intending for you to do. Are there other ways? Tell me, enlighten me.
Mom and Pep the need for like, not just the hands, but like putting her knees up. So it's nice by knee, right? Help me stabilize.
Totally. I guess when I said hands, I just meant like using our bodies
Yeah,
and somehow, yeah, totally. Okay.
that just feels like that was like just different, like more connected. Just a different kind of. And then I was reading also like don't like pull someone's arm. Is that like a no-no? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I read that.
Maybe in a certain pose.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's a general no,
Never.
but maybe with more context, I could answer that.
Okay,
better.
okay.
Yeah. And then it's important to know that like a lot of people don't want to be touched. And that could be for any number of reasons. It could be because of trauma. It could be because of you're menstruating and you just don't want to be touched, or you just had a big burrito before coming to class, and like having another person's body like touching yours doesn't feel right. And I think Pete and his things, yeah. So do you guys have these day 7 handouts actually? Let's go to them. We'll kind of do like a round robin in terms of reading a couple, and then we'll just kind of sprinkle in some stuff. This first one, who wants to start?
87.
Thank you. 87. Who wants to be we're just going to go in a circle. It's going to be like super simple. I have kids.
I'll start.
Thank you, Naomi. So just start with, so these are like the basic principles of assisting. And I just want you to do that first, like that first bullet point.
Do we assist in?
Oh, no, sorry. Top down. We already did that. Have permission to touch.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Fine.
Have permission to touch. Before class starts, explain that there will be touch and ask if there is anyone who does not want to touch.
Keep going. Read that next line.
Make eye contact or let the person know you're coming up behind them. Be
Perfect. No, stop there. Sorry. Yeah. And so asking if there's somebody that doesn't want to be touched. I feel like a lot of places were doing that 10 years ago, like go into downward dog, raise a leg if you don't want to be touched. For me, it's a little opt out, and I would rather people have the option of opting in. The studio now has those little consent cards. I think it's important to know, just as a teacher, you'll come up with your own system. And it's just important to have a system. Even if, I have the cards, I encourage people to use them. I encourage people to change their mind throughout the course of a class. If they're like, yeah, I'm in my warrior sequence and I want support. Now I'm going into my yin poses and I don't want it, or vice versa. But yeah, I think the important thing is just having a system. And once you develop relationships with your students too, like there's certain students, they always want assist or they never want assist, and that's okay. So questions, thoughts? Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
Like letting you know that you're coming.
It's tricky.
I've never had to do that. So it's hard for me to like Like, it's just like, excuse me, I'm coming up behind you. Like, what do you do?
It's just, what you're trying to avoid is spooking someone. Like I've had teachers spook me and it sucks. Like, when you're like in a pose and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that hand there. So, what does he say? Let them know you're coming up from behind. It might be walking from the front and then kind of, or like, hey, are you okay if I give you a little pressure here? It might be verbal. I think there's so many ways to do it, but it might mean if somebody's like deep in their meditation practice and you're so like, that they don't know that you're there, maybe you don't offer them a hands-on assist. I think that's one of the trickier elements with Shavasana assist, to be honest, is like everyone is theoretically in that space where you're so just in your body and like eyes closed. And so it's a really vulnerable spot to walk up to someone. We will do Shavasana assist today though. Yeah.
One teacher subbing for Pete Jow or something say, if you want, me to assist or I don't know, say help stretch something in Shavasana, just keep your hands on your heart and your tummy.
Yeah. Yeah. See, every teacher is going to have their own system. In public classes, I don't do Shavasana assists. On retreat, I will. With private clients, I will. But in a packed studio setting, I personally feel like it takes away from other people's experience if like I'm in there. But I feel like that's a personal decision. Pete gives a lot of Shavasana assists, and like people love his Shavasana assists. I love his Shavasana assists. So yeah. All right, let's keep moving down on bullet points. Anything else on the permission? It is, it's a tricky one. And it's, yeah. I think the important thing is just to have consent though. Even if it's a little verbal yes, even if it's the thing, that's the card. Yeah. Oh, Naomi, which way? Let's go counterclockwise. I forget your name already. Emily, that's right. It's all you.
Be centered and grounded before touching your students. Deep, continuous breath, linking your breath to the students. And use active feet to ground yourself. Come with an attitude of guidance and love, not force or criticism. Be ready to hold space for any emotion, feeling, or reaction that arises from contact.
Yeah. So, we say this is being centered and grounded before assisting, but really it's before teaching. I think it's, I know Pete recommends this too. It's like really nice to practice before you teach. And sometimes you have the luxury of like doing the whole sequence that you're going to teach and really like feeling it in a way that you're like, oh, that's how I want to cue this, or that's how this would feel nice for an assist. And sometimes there's the reality of like life and you lost your keys and you just got to the studio late and blah, blah, blah. But like, even like 3 breaths or even just sitting with this class at the beginning of practice, that can be enough to like drop you in, ground you. And the same goes with when you're assisting, because nobody wants to be assisted when you're like when the energy is a little spastic. And so, yeah, forest yoga and Pete's teachings offer that like active feet, grounding into the earth. That's one way. Definitely breathing, matching breath is a great way to do it. And, in my own experience, there's like days where I'm just like, I don't want to touch people. I have poison oak, or my kid's sick, borderline at home, and I have to be here. And so it's like, it's also okay not to assist. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Not to assist, but Laura, by
Yeah.
coaching, you can always.
You can always use your voice, totally. Yeah.
There's always.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have, where are we? Emily, yeah. Next, tell me your name. Caitlin, hi. Why don't you just do like the first 5 bullet points?
Be clean and touch, communication and hygiene. No creepy hands or touching. Know what your intentions are before you touch. Be attentive to resistance or shakings to adjustment, and respond immediately when observed flashback.
Begin and leave adjustments gently, honoring the energetic body as well, as to not startle or off balance the student. Move students with gentle force, placing adjustments on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no force and 10 being the most amount of force. Move from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, etc. When releasing students out of the assist, release gently, moving from 6 to 5, 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, 1.
We get the picture. Thank you for your patience. Yeah. I mean, that no creepy hands, like it's true. Like when you're going up to give someone to offer some sort of an assist, you should have a clear idea of what you're doing. Like just to kind of like get in there and not know, and your hands are just like draping over or like doing a big glaze. It's not helpful, right? And it happens. Like sometimes you get in there and they move and that's part of it. Hi, welcome. But really having a clear intention of what are you trying to offer in that situation? Is it trying to get the student and coach them to deepen their breath? Is it to work on some alignment thing? Is it to bring them back into their body because you can tell that they're like a million miles away? You know, just have a sense of what you're doing and how that takes shape in terms of the physical body. And yeah, so, you know, that situation where you were injured with a teacher assist, like ideally when we're going in, like you don't want to go into full pressure and you're kind of looking for that resistance. So you start slow, they know you're there because you put that initial 0% pressure, but your hands are there. And then you're kind of like looking for that resistance, right? And not in a like, I don't want you here, but that might happen too. But also that like, where's the physical edge if your assist is deepening a yoga pose. So if you're doing a forward fold, that's where you were, forward fold. So you're kind of like looking for that place where you're like, okay, now I got them at their edge. I'm going to hold them there, breathe with them for a minute. And now I'm backing off with that same kind of slow, patient. So it's not like in, out, but it's, you know, slow in, slow out. That's what all the number counting was. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah.
In regards to non-creepy hands, it's fair, because I mean, you know, like I grew up doing yoga at a time where like everything went, you know, like into like I've been poked in the perineum by a horse, you know, because she'll give one adjustment like with her hands, and then she'll, you know, direct where you're supposed to breathe or where you're supposed to be looking up. I'm like, okay, I get it, but you could have just told me. So it's not, you know, it's not acceptable. No.
I mean, I got a clear answer for that, but
It's acceptable to hands-on adjust and then speak the other kind of more sensitive areas, or is it better to just do one hands-on adjustment and then maybe address the whole class and say, you know, pull it up, like use multiple muscles really well. So
it's a good question. I have never had anyone in a yoga class poke me in the perineum, but yeah, but you know, like if you've been in the yoga world for decades, assists have changed a lot. And like I've had a lot, if I zoom back at some child's pose or some happy baby assists, I'm like, oh, like somebody does not need to be sitting on top of me for, you know. I would say in this day of age, especially as a male teacher, like I wouldn't give any of those cues as a one-on-one. Unless you have a really deep relationship with a student where there's been years and years of trust built into that relationship. But I think we have to be careful for like not alienating students, not isolating, not making people feel uncomfortable, but our own liability as well. Like it's a profession, it's a job. And so finding that balance. Yeah. And I think if you're like questioning it, just don't do it, you know? Does anyone else have thoughts on that?
Just makes me think about how if you had something done in your training for decades, if that was just part of the culture,
Yeah.
and there's just changes through the generations
For
in
sure.
many fields. So like I'm sure when Anna was getting trained, they probably do that more. I mean, in her book, she talks about a lot of stuff. But then there's just, times change. Right.
Yeah, I think my first teacher training 20 years ago, we didn't talk about consent. Like that's new and that's lovely. And I'm so glad that's part of our world now. But we have to accept that that's how it was then, and we can adapt. We can do better.
But
Yeah.
just so, again, yeah, there are a lot of like yoga cues that are like very like, intimate cues, so to speak. It's best to just address that to the group as opposed to or just leave that out.
I mean, that would be my question. Like, what is it? Does it add something really important to your teaching? And if so, yes, bring it and find a way that makes you feel comfortable, that you feel like doesn't cross a border. For me personally, I would question that so much that I would be like, I'm just not going to teach that. And not, there's enough breadth in the practice that we don't have to do everything. Now, if you're teaching pelvic floor work to prenatal groups, like it's different, right? We're going to talk about body parts in a different way, but you're creating that intimate environment and building trust and relationship, and it serves a very clear purpose. This is up for you to decide. I have opinions on what I've decided is comfortable in my world. All of us are different as teachers. But I would say if you're questioning it, keep questioning it.
But wouldn't it then make sense? You'd say, okay, if you want to try this for yourself, you could locate like your sit bones or whatever.
Totally.
Versus going in, and I'm sure it was like with the hand, and it wasn't even like I don't know.
No, it was hands.
Yeah,
but again, it's just like these are assists that everyone was getting throughout this.
100%, but traumatizing for some, maybe not all, right? So
it was a little shocking.
But then you can tell them, if you want to try this, then
Absolutely.
Or do it at home or whatever.
And I think your point of addressing the whole class, so it's not like everyone else is in Warrior 2 grounding their heels down and you, for whatever reason, are working on your pelvic floor work. That feels like a little bit of an imbalance. So I think addressing the whole class could help make that less awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I've also had instructors who are like, if you want to self-assist, this is something you can do. Or there's like turning your inner thigh out kind of vibe. And like, I think that those can be equally as helpful because you're helping a student explore their own ability to teach themselves.
Right, yeah, I guess that was part of it too. It's just like, obviously that was an extreme thing, but yeah, it's being about a routine. Obviously, like you wouldn't grab someone's inner thigh and do it yourself. You could probably say,
and you can like demo like this is what I do when I want to make sure that I'm in alignment, like spread equally between right and left foot.
And I will say that, somebody that walks into your class for the very first time, oftentimes it's tempting to want to give an assist because that makes them like, oh, love it. And it feels great. And so that's one strategy, if you want to call it that. But to build that relationship of touching someone. And so, it might be just like a neck tension or tractioning thing the first time you meet someone. And after literally years and years and years, touching someone's internal thigh might not actually feel like a big deal. But that's like, I wouldn't do that on the first day that I meet someone. Yeah, that being said, we might do all sorts of things today. All right. Let's move on. Tell me your name. Sierra, hi. Do you want to read the next couple, starting with Touch with Care? Do you know where we are? Thank you. I don't have page numbers. I'll read the first one. Oh, no. Yeah, and then we're like 6 bullet points down, I believe. Touch with care, no poking or drive-by assist.
So fewer words.
Yeah, start there.
Fewer words are better, be concise. Check in on how adjustments feel with language. Does that not allow a passive okay? Does this feel better or worse? Do you want more pressure, etc.? If you are assisting breath, make sure that students know why you are touching them. Breathe here, or get breath into my hands, etc. Students who have asked to not be physically touched can be audibly assisted and shown how to down level or use prompts. Be aware of your volume, loud enough so student doesn't shift to hear, quiet enough so it is obviously a personal cue.
I'm going to pause you there. Let's just talk about those for a couple seconds and we'll get to the last three. No poking drive-by assist. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Okay. Yes, fewer words, be concise, makes sense. It is nice to have some like feedback, you know, to offer the student some way to be like, oh, I want more pressure, or actually that feels like too much. Oh, you forgot that my hip is tight, or whatever it is. You know, so there's so many ways to formulate that in terms of language, but yes, finding a non-passive way or where they actually have to give more than a nod is nice. I'm not sure this fits the bill, but I offer a lot of times like, how is this pressure? Like, you know, do you want more pressure, less pressure? Does anyone have like other cueing around that they love? No.
Question.
Yeah.
So what's an example of a passive okay? What are we trying to avoid?
I mean,
Like yes, no questions?
kind of. Yeah, and it's hard though, right? Like, how does that feel? Is, I guess, a little less passive. I mean, it's hard because in truth, you're trying to hold space with this one person while also holding space for a much larger group. So it can't be a huge dialogue. But I think just like, even just like that act of checking in with someone and trying to steer it away from like the obvious, like, yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking when I get this balances, I actually don't want to think hard about it. You know, that was just feel like work.
You just want to be there. Yeah.
And also good and be honest in those situations, because like, well, this, but that, but there's no time for that.
Yeah. That is true. I feel like we've all been in that scenario, right? Where someone's like, how does this feel? Or maybe it's, and then you're like, it's fine. And actually it sucks, or it hurts, or you don't want it.
And then I get overthinking.
Sort of, if I'm good, I'm good. I'll let you know. That's how I am, but I
Yeah.
understand this.
I think it's important to give someone like a way to encourage you to back off or move away. Like, I mean, as a teacher, like not often, but it happens where, you know, you're checking in with someone and like, you get the feeling like they don't want this at all and you back away. And the important thing is like, it's not personal. Like it could be, who knows why they don't want this assist right now. Maybe it was a bad assist. Maybe it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with them, and it doesn't matter. It's like, let it go, move on. Do you want to expand the circle so we can include you?
It's okay, and that gives them a chance to say yes or no, but that's the yes or no that they're saying that to do.
Yeah, I don't have a great workaround on this. What would I say?
That's just asking permission, so you should have already asked permission, right?
Yeah. So oftentimes what I will do is like, even if we have a face up, face down, yes, no, I will like consent card. Oftentimes what I'll do is as I approach someone, like tell them what I'm going to do. Like, hey, are you okay if I, you know, give you a little bit of pressure here? And then how is that pressure? Is that the right amount of pressure? So it's a kind of like, you know, it's a small dialogue with a follow-up. Like, I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not spooking you. Now I'm doing it. Is that working for you? Yeah.
Had a teacher who I think maybe this was more for one conclusions, like bringing you a block, and then she would say better, worse, or same. And that was nice because that gives you a short way to answer.
Yeah.
It gives her information, but it's quick, and if you don't want to go into
It's a really good point, because a lot of times it's trial and error. We're like trying something and it actually is worse.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, it's okay for us, it's okay for them. Like, we're not gonna nail it every single time. Like, yeah, you add a block between the hands or between the legs, and actually like it has the opposite effect, or it doesn't add anything. That's feedback. And it's also like, hey, we tried this last time. What can we try different next time? Or it's a conversation after class. Like, that didn't work, but let's play with these other 3 ideas to see if there is something that we could find that works. And I think that's just where like being open and creative and communicative supports that. Yeah, I mean, it's also like if we go back in yoga philosophy and we practice without attachment to the outcomes of our practice. We have this dedication, this ritual, this devotion to our practice, but there's never like, there shouldn't be the, I do it because I want to get here, or I want this, like that kind of defeats the purpose of a practice. And it's the same with an assist. We offer something without the expectation that it's necessarily a good thing. Like, we're obviously trying to make that happen, but it doesn't always happen. Yeah. There was, yeah, okay, so this next one, make sure they know why you're like, if you're placing your hand on their back and your intention is because you want them to take the breath all the way into the upper back or something like that, make sure you're telling them that, because they'll be like, why is your hand there? It's kind of a creepy thing. I mean, maybe it's just like, hey, I'm here and I'm present with you and I'm also breathing. But if you have something that's not obvious, use your words, communicate, be open, be honest. It makes sense. Yeah. There's another one I wanted to just, oh, okay. So this last one that you read, Sierra, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Beware of your volume. This one I think is kind of fun because oftentimes I will turn up my volume working one-on-one with someone if it feels like it's something that everyone could benefit from. It's like, hey, I'm gonna like make sure that you're anchoring down through this back heel and finding an internal rotation of the inner thigh. Like, I'm working one-on-one with you, I'm doing that physically, but probably everyone in the class could benefit from that. So sometimes I think it's okay to speak in a way that is for everyone, even if you're working one-on-one. And I think in these next couple, yeah, down in the next one, it's talking about not breathing directly on your students and kind of keeping a little bit of space. And I find that like when I'm assisting someone, I might be like, right here on your body, hi, can I touch you? But I'm like looking this way, like my body is this way. So I'm still engaged with the rest of the class. So if I'm speaking as I'm doing this thing here, it also kind of, it works, right? I mean, it has to be appropriate, but yeah. These next 2, I'm just going to read them really quick. Trim your nails so you don't scratch people. I would say like big jewelry can also be kind of cumbersome and scratch people and get in the way. And be clean, like, and I say that as a yoga teacher who spends 90% of my day barefoot, and like, it's hard to keep our feet clean, but be clean, try not to be too stinky. I also don't take this like overly seriously. I mean, different people have different standards. I don't think we have to be like models in that's not why we're teachers, but basic hygiene is important. Let's just say that. Yeah. All right. I want to go through these next ones maybe a little bit quicker just so we can actually, yeah. I'm still going to have you read. Tell me your name. Mike. Hi.
Ways to observe the student. Foundation up, that's where we are, right?
Yeah, we're on ways to observe the student.
Start from the ground up, checking weight-bearing joints for compression or collapse. Feet, ankles, knees, hips, torso, shoulders, neck. Checking with the spine, is it long or compressed? Address any potential injury first. Address any other alignment issues. Help shift with even the pose for the student.
Totally. Let's just talk about that foundation first. Like if you're doing a handstand or downward dog, it's hands or hands and feet. For a lot of our standing poses, it's our feet. We're going to go a lot into the anatomy of the feet later, so we won't necessarily talk about that, but it is really important to to start with the foundation. If we see something, I hesitate to say this, there are a lot of problems that we can resolve. And I say problems, they're not problems. There's a lot of alignment things that we can resolve just by like really working on the foundation and seeing kind of how that trickles up the kinesiological chain. In the same sentence, I will say, sometimes it makes sense to work with the hips and spine, and then it can trickle down. So I won't be totally exclusive, but it is really important to look at the foundation. If we're just doing something with someone's arms, but the lower body's a mess in a warrior one, for example, it's like we're doing this like icing on the cake refinement when we really have bigger, I don't know, bigger challenges or more opportunities lower down. And we can play with that on a bunch of different poses. Do we feel like we have questions there, or can we just like accept that we're going to talk about it a lot in a bit? Yeah, sorry, online, I'm trying to, if you guys have questions too, let me make this bigger so I can actually, you are welcome to also ask questions. Was that a question, or was that just like a thumbs up? Okay, awesome.
Just a thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Energetics, talk about it, read it.
Energetically, what is the general vibrancy of the pose? Where is the body bright and turned on? Where is it dim or sluggish? Where are your eyes, intuition, or empathy first drawn? What is the emotional tone of the movement and pose? Curious, tired, triggered, coax breath, feeling, and shift into dim and shut down areas with touch, breath, and support.
Totally. I mean, you'll see someone in a warrior one that's like this, and you're like, okay, like nothing is alive, nothing is awake, right? Everything is just kind of like heavy. And that might be an opportunity to like start with the foundation, start somewhere, ground somewhere. And then you might see like a warrior two that is so intense, you know, it's like the whole body's on fire, but like there's like no softness anywhere in the nervous system. And so it's just interesting to like think about those energetics. Where are we alive? Where are we not? Is there an opportunity to find better balance? Yeah. And it's fun to watch as a teacher. It's really fun, actually. Yeah. It's fun to watch the overachievers and the more sluggish. And if you know Ayurveda, it's like getting into those different types. It's fascinating, really. Yeah, and that is like more intuitive in a way. I mean, like you're looking at it and it's energetic. And part of it can also be just like awareness, you know, like the body's here, but you can tell that the mind is somewhere so distant, and the eyes sometimes give that indicator, but sometimes it's just so obvious. And you're like, hey, like come back, like come back home, like embody yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
I mean, would you say that to them, or?
I think it depends with so many of these things. It's like your relationship with the people and what's going on and where you are. But yeah, like even like a, hey, where are you? Or like, hey, take one really deep breath. And it could be cueing the whole class to do something and seeing if they pick up on that when you notice. You might just like stand by that one person and say that whole class cue. And it could be a hands-on assist, it could be a verbal assist, but it could just be like, yeah, like a, hey, like, come back. And I think we all find ourselves there sometimes. So it's not a correction, it's not a problem, but it's a reminder.
So you would say that, like, to breathe, like,
totally. Yeah, different teachers will have different strategies, and that's for you to figure out. But like, if you've been to a lot of Pete's classes, like he definitely uses the breath as one of those anchors. And that can be such a powerful, I mean, I would say using the breath or the alignment of the body as an anchor brings you back into your body. So if like you are working on grounding the heels in a warrior pose, you're going to come back into your body if you have to like keep those heels grounded. If you're working on a 3-part breathing, you're going to come back into your body as you're finding that breath. Yeah, but it is a helpful reminder for people. And I think it is important to, you know, not constantly poke at the same person. Like sometimes there's just going to be people that come to class and they're in a different state and they're in a different space, and that's okay. Like it's okay to also leave students alone. But to once in a while kind of like draw them back. It's can be a sweet moment. Yeah. I think these next ones we are going to skip for now. The things that I will just highlight. I'll highlight, because you guys are going to be doing this as a class, when you're assisting other teachers that are teaching, it's actually quite hard because you don't know what their pacing is going to be. You don't know if they're there for, I mean, maybe in your classes here, you would have a better sense, but you know, you don't know whether you have time to like get in and do a big assist or whether you have to get in and get out really quick. But I guess it's important just to be mindful and like really paying attention to the teacher and looking for their cues that they're moving on or getting out of their way. Also, like if a teacher is doing a big flow, sometimes the best thing is to get out of the way, and to hold space with breath or with just simple presence. Yeah, there are other ways that you can assist a teacher, you know, by also like mirroring what you said earlier, like doing the same pose and being kind of a sample for that pose. Like, here's what we're working into, or using your breath. And of course, this last little, sorry, I'm reading the section when assisting other teachers, this last little section, like, don't be a distraction. Don't be there like hands on your hips, like chewing your gum, you know, active, like you're still there, you're practicing, even if you're not doing the physical poses, even if in that moment you're not physically giving an assist, you're still part of the practice, you're still practicing, you're still breathing with them. So offering that presence, you know, Pete likes to talk about like crossed arms, like don't be hanging out in the corner with your crossed arms. Be there, open, aware. So, all right. There are a couple other points in that section. I encourage you to read them on your own. Questions, comments, concerns before we move on? No? Okay. It's 6:51. How anxious are you to do your like 15 minutes of teaching? Thrilled? Let's do it. Let's stand up, move your bodies. How many are we? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. We're an even number in here. Partner up with someone. How long are your teachings? Like 5 minutes each? Sure. Let's see.
Depends on the pose. Some are doing longer.
Okay. Let's try to keep, how about I give you 15 minutes and you guys manage your time. Make sure you balance it between the two people. If somebody has a lot, maybe you don't do 100% of yours. That's okay. Do you want to do small groups on the Zoom? Yeah. How many of you are on here? Because you guys can, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do I do this? I am. Oh, geez. I think we have an even number here, but I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll have to have a group of 3. But Cassandra's going to put you guys in separate little Zoom rooms, and you can also teach. And go. Don't waste a minute.
Oh my, okay, how do I do this? How do I put them in Zoom rooms? I'm not sure.
More. Let's see.
Word notes, docs. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you out.
Oh, participants.
No, I've never done this before. Sorry, I thought you were my Zoo pro.
No, not at all.
I think we need to figure out who's the host right now, and it might not be you, Cass.
Say that again, Adrian. We can't quite hear you.
Oh, sorry. I said I think we need to figure out who the host is because they're usually the only one who
Maybe
can do it.
I think I'm the host. I'm just seeing that I have host tools.
Then not
Okay.
this, do it, do it. I hope you are.
I'm not sure how I became the host, but
We like it,
so
Marielle. I'm
what
not
should I be looking for in the host tools? Not
Breakout
anything that
rooms.
Hi, you all, by the way, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to like balance attention and it's hard. So
You're doing great.
No,
You're
you're
doing
doing
great.
awesome.
okay, Marielle's on it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, we'll
Thank
sort
you.
it out.
So you guys all have, by the time you're in your room, you'll probably have like 5 minutes each to teach. And
She put them in groups.
she's working on it.
Okay.
I think slowly you'll start disappearing into rooms.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do this. If anyone has questions too.
I'm not sure where I'm gonna end up in the.
Say that again?
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Are you guys, she's working on it, or maybe
She's
you guys
working on it.
work on your poses, just work on your own individually.
Is it not working?
Soon. Okay. We have to do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're disappearing. Yay.
Oh.
Good job, Marielle. Marielle, sorry. Thank you.
No, I know nothing about Zoom. I was already retired by the time Zoom.
I'm gonna mute. Marielle, okay, yeah.
Hi, we're back. I don't know if everybody else knows that they have to leave the room in order to do it, but they'll figure it out. You're muted. Cassandra, you're muted.
I don't think because we're not the hosts, I don't think we
You
can
can't
pull
bring a
people
Rick.
up.
Okay, well, they'll come. They'll either get it or they won't.
Hopefully they'll come. How'd it go? How was your teaching?
It was great. Felt so
Good.
good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, we're gonna give these folks another minute and hopefully all the other breakout rooms will come back.
That's so funny. I didn't realize that was muted. I was all talking there. Anywho.
Oh, she's back.
Okay.
Oh, yay. Welcome back.
We're
Thanks.
back. Thank you.
How'd it go?
Good.
Awesome.
Worked well. That worked well.
Cool. We're still missing one group, maybe?
Yeah, they'll probably be
Maybe
here
I'm
in the
just
next
not seeing
minute.
everyone.
60 seconds.
I think we're still missing one group. Marielle, thanks for being our tech support offsite. Takes a village.
No problem.
So for this
Got
next
6
section,
people on.
okay. So we're all here?
Yep,
No, we're
they'll
still-
they'll all be coming back. She pulled them out of the breakup rooms, but it just gives them a countdown till they come back.
Just so you know, so for this next section, it's going to be a lot more like workshop-y and demo-y. Cassandra's going to take great care of you and make sure you can see everything.
Yes.
Holler at her if you can't see. The challenge being remote will be as we do these like assists, you have no one to practice on unless you have a lovely friend next to you that you can practice on. But what I would recommend is that you do the pose yourself and feel into these poses. Maybe imagine like, what would it feel like? How could I assist? Where would it feel good to be assisted right now? And so just, try to embody the poses in a different way, which honestly is often, if I'm practicing before I teach, that's often what I will do is I'm like coming through, I'm doing the poses, I'm feeling the alignment, but I'm also imagining like, what does this feel like in my body? What does this feel like in a body where I might be tighter in X, Y, or Z location? And what might be some possible assists? So you get to be creative and imaginative and play with assists that way. And then hopefully next time you will be with us in person and you can
Yay.
do it with a more tactile way. So, all right, we're going to come back together. All right, you guys.
Okay.
The bell.
Very good.
Like, it's ready.
Yeah.
How'd it go? Awesome. Yeah. I feel like it's good. I feel like it's good for everyone I was a beginner teacher at one point too. It's really hard. It's really hard to talk people into a position. There's so many body parts and there's left and there's right and then you're mirroring them. It's I love that people go through teacher training and realize how hard it is. I mean, it's not like we're not rocket scientists, but still it's like it takes a long time to feel comfortable and fluid talking somebody into a position in their body. It's not something that we intuitively know how to do. So
Let's see a rocket do a forward pull.
what do you think? All right, so let's not. So I think the way that we're going to spend let's just say the way that we're gonna spend this next chunk of time is looking at some of the poses that you guys are teaching as part of 1 and 2. We can talk a little bit about alignment and things. I'm gonna like try to pull out I'm gonna try really hard not to go deep into anatomy, but to pull out like one thing from like clumps of poses to focus on anatomy wise that we could talk about that will give us something when we're assisting you. Yeah. And I want to work with you first. I know. So Laura came in. Were you first here? You were second. Danny was first. No, you were first. Okay. Laura was here first. And one of the things that she told me is that in her first teacher training, you injured your spine, right? Because you had this concept that a neutral spine, can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah, great.
Awesome. I'm trying to that a neutral spine meant, talk to us. What did you think a neutral spine meant?
So I thought it meant to be like flat on the front.
Like a flat back all the time.
Top your toes, top your toes.
Yeah. So I want to use you as our model and we're going to face you so they can see you too. You guys can move and see, you don't have to be like fixed on your mats. Look at Laura's spine and talk to us about what you see. Yeah, thank you. Full circle, be our model. Where?
Middle back?
Middle back.
We look like a little out and a little in.
A little out and a little in. Okay, so we have some curves. Let's refine where they are. We got curves. We're happy with curves and all the good places. So is this like an inner curve, an outer curve? Inner? That's the wrong language. Yeah. Do you mind me touching you, by the way? Oh. Okay. So if we look at, should I pull out? I'm not going to pull out the skeleton. If we look at our curves, we'll look at mine so you can actually look, because this is important for you. If we look at like our spine, we have the tailbone at the very bottom, like down in the butt crack, tailbone, coccyx. Then above it, we have 5 fused vertebrae. This is too much detail for you right now. The sacrum, which is this like fused vertebrae that connects in with the pelvis. So that's like what we would consider, I guess, that's the sacrum. It's the low back. And then we get up into, and there's a little bit of like a this way curve, right? Like a little bit of almost like a forward fold kind of curve in that section. I'm tempted to have you hand me that skeleton up above you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Start right here.
Have a good enough curve. It's okay. Let's use me instead. Well, we can do both. So yeah, it's that little bit of tucking. We can see the rounding of the curve there, right? And then you get up into this section, which should be a little bit more like that. When we get into the low back, it's this area of the spine that's not connected to our rib cage, and we have more of an arch, right? So it's like not, it's not like super pronounced, but we have an arch there. And then we get up into the portion of the spine, the thoracic spine, that connects with the rib cage. And again, we have a little bit of like a rounding, right? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but there's rounding in the upper back. And then what do we have when we get up into the cervical spine and neck? Yeah, it's that arch again. So it's like, right? And when we talk about a neutral spine in terms of alignment, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about like a rod. We're talking about these natural waves that exist within our spine. So we have this little bit of tucking in the sacrum area. And then in this low back area, which is the green vertebrae, I guess, we have the arch. Then we have a little bit of rounding as we come up into the thoracic spine, cervical spine, the neck, we get a little bit of arch. Yeah? We'll go into this in a lot more detail in our anatomy sessions. But initial, like, does that make sense? Yeah. We have curves, we want to use them, we want to keep them, right? Okay, so we're going to use that to talk about who's teaching elbow to knee.
And I just had a question because on that one it says like push your lower back.
So let's use you. Why didn't you come into elbow? Let's do it. Elbow to knee. Does it say push your low back into the earth? Okay. So there's a lot of different, we talked about this a little bit before class. There's a lot of different thoughts. With any assist, it depends on the individual body that you're working with. If somebody has, I mean, it's not uncommon in our culture right now for people to have a lot of low back pain, slipped discs, bulging discs, right? So if you're working with someone that has a bulging or a slipped disc, we'll look at what that actually looks like later. But we don't want to encourage excess rounding in the low back. So this kind of core might not be for them. Do you still do it? Do you have anything you want to share on this?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it used to.
Mhm.
Before the disc, like it actually like,
It's in your lumbar spine?
yeah, I mean, it really lights up when I like when I'm tucking down. Like,
And
so,
what
like,
about when you do forward fold?
still,
You don't do, okay, perfect, thank you. So somebody with low back stuff, and we'll talk about this when we talk about injuries, but there's like literally the little stuff in between the spinal discs is already jutting out. Yours is to the back, I'm assuming. It's already jutting out to the back. So the more that we're rounding the spine, we're sending that further back. So we don't want to do it. Sorry, I haven't forgotten about it. So when we're doing core, we're coming back to core. The idea is, like for something with elbow to knee, let's just start with knees over hips. So if you go to like a Pilates class, this can be core with like toe taps or anything, even just holding like that. And the idea is that if you take, can I touch you? So from her low ribs to the top rim of her pelvis, when we add any movement, kind of naturally want to over accentuate the arch in the spine. And the core work happens just by the core work happens when we just stabilize. So we're just maintaining that same distance. We're not fully rounding the spine, but we're not adding an arch of the spine. So I'm going to have you inhale here. Exhale, tap this right toes to the earth without, inhale, come back up to center and do it the second side, tap. So it's very subtle. But what I don't want you to do now, do you mind exaggerating? You don't have any spinal injuries? No. So now exaggerate as you tap this toe down, like open up the belly, expand out, arch the spine, come back up. Do the same thing on the second side. You kind of lose all the containment. So there's no core engagement there. So a lot of our cueing is literally just trying to get us to maintain some core engagement. This feels like a really hard one to explain. So fire questions at me. Like as a teacher, I'm always trying to figure out better ways to
This has
explain.
been a problem for me forever.
Yeah.
Because the opposite too is the cue is to push your back into the ground,
Yes.
which is to like make your lower back convex.
Yeah.
which is
We talk
not
about
the point.
lordosis and ketosis, I think are our technical terms, but yes, we'll talk about those later.
And like, I think that that's supposed to help maintain the curve of the low back, but it also feels counterproductive to surrender it to the floor.
Yep.
And like, this has never made sense to me.
So one way that we can do it while maintaining, do you mind still being our model? So one way that we can do it while still maintaining some arch, this might be too thick, but come on to this, so your low back is on that. And then push actually we could all do this. Why don't we all just do it? So fold a blanket in half, bring it into your low back. If you don't have a blanket at home, come onto your back and imagine that you're doing it. Yeah. Make sure it's not too high. Yeah. And then come up like you're in the base pose for elbow to knee. Do we have enough blankets? I have a couple here.
There's 2 extra.
There's 2 extra. We have enough. Okay. It can be anything. You're right. Yeah. And just feel like, what did it feel like to pull the belly down towards the spine, push the back into that blanket, right? And let's not even do elbow to knee. Let's actually leave the head on the ground. Bring the knees up over the hips though, so you get that like reverse tabletop, reverse chair kind of pose. Yeah. And see if you can stabilize the core there. So not puff up the low ribs, not send the pelvis into an anterior tilt where you're forwarding the pelvis forward. Take a full breath in. And let's just extend the right leg long like you're doing elbow to knee, but keep the head on the ground, keep the head out of it. Yep, and then inhale, come back to center, both knees bent. Exhale, reach out through the left leg, stabilize through the midsection. Inhale, come back to center, let's do it one more time. So it's a little push of the low back into the blanket. Exhale, reach. Inhale, 2 knees over the hips. And then left leg, reach along, pull the belly down. Okay, bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Does that, I'm not doing it in my own body right now, so I don't know if the blanket is exact, but do you feel that? Yes.
Without being able to press my back into the ground.
You
it
didn't
was
feel it?
really hard. Like, I felt like my belly was like this, and I couldn't get it in.
You have a lot of height there with with that, so that could be it. Another way that I've worked with this before is grab. And actually, let's just all do it. Why not? Grab a strap. Actually, grab a strap for every 2 people. Partner up with someone. You guys have a strap. Okay. Slide the blanket off. Instead of the blanket, we're going to use the strap underneath the low back. Yeah. So this is going to remove a little bit more of that natural arch in the low back. But it might give you that sensation of what it feels like to push the low back into the earth. So I'm going to demo with you first. So I'm going to have you come in, bring the knees up over the hips, and then lock this strap. So, yeah, how's that feel? Okay, it feels fine. It feels okay. Yeah. Bring your knees a little bit further forward. So I'm having her kind of push her low back into the strap, and I'm tugging on it. So you can't go anywhere. Don't let me go anywhere. Take an inhale. Right leg long. Exhale. Don't let me pull the strap. Inhale, come back to center. Yeah. Exhale, left leg long. Keep the left leg higher though as you go. Yeah. Inhale to center. Exhale, right leg. Yeah. Okay. Try this with your person and just play with what it feels like. It doesn't have to be like lock, but that idea of pushing the back into the strap. So try it with a partner. Someone right next to you.
Lower in the back.
Go be a partner.
I'll go be a partner.
Yeah, now it's under your butt. Okay, yeah. Oh.
If it's under your butt, then you really can't move it.
I know. These are perfect, but it's just giving you that idea.
Yeah.
Start by next
Even as you said it, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. It's really kind of what the green is still getting flat, like you have curve like deliberate. Okay. It's okay to. Okay.
Good for.
Don't have. Because when I don't want to.
Don't like to leave, so the cue is to push it.
Yeah. I know get more around me. Right. If I like to fall, my banana bag is just like. I hope to like. I said it's round. You're right. How are you so fun?
For my body.
Yeah, that works. Okay, time to do your 2 rounds. Come back. Solid. I see it. All right. Ding, ding, ding. Fine how I talk about this. I'm going to use what I just said to you guys. All right. One different way of thinking about it, and then I'll take any questions. So we were talking about a little bit more here. if you look at me and I'm on my spine, I have like a pretty big gap right here in my low back. You can move around if you get.
That's a normal.
Yeah, that's my normal, you know, that's my relaxed state. That's my normal spinal articulation. I will say everyone has different curves in their spine. So some people naturally are going to have more or less rounding and arching in their spine. Our job is not to correct that. We're helping them find what that like neutral spine is. So, you know, here's me in a normal neutral spine. As soon as I pull my legs up, I'm almost coming into a partial forward fold. And so naturally, most of that arching comes out, right? And so what I'm trying to do as I add on the core is just to maintain this base position. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So just to reiterate, you know, it's not letting the belly expand as I move the legs. It's maintaining this as I take movement here. And that becomes the core work. And that's a credit of the path. Yes.
We were talking about this, like when I was doing this initially, like elbow to knee, like that cue was never, I never did that cue.
The like push the
Yeah,
low
yeah.
back into the
cue
earth.
that I did was, you know, once the knees are up,
Yeah.
and the leg is out, that's when you tuck the tailbone. Because I feel like when the leg goes straight, that's when like the super curve comes into the spine.
Well, it's moving that leg from your base pose above the hips to the extension. So it's that whole journey away and then journey back.
Yeah, so I feel like I never did that, like grind your back down.
Great. You shouldn't because you have low back stuff.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an important injury adjustment that a lot of people walk into the classroom with. And I'll just say this as like a sprinkle for injuries. When you start out teaching, you might have a rough sense of how you've been injured, how your partner, your cat, whatever, your parents have been injured, but it's like all through personal experience. And then we just layer it on more and more. And, but low back stuff is a very common injury. Let's play with, yeah, go ahead.
I just have a question about like ab engagement. When I have my back to the floor, I'm finding lately that like I'm flat on the floor, but my abdomens are pushing out rather than zipping in. Is that bad?
Even when you find,
Yeah,
I don't want to over exaggerate it, but like that anterior tilt of the pelvis.
it's like I still have that like force field of like belly pushing out.
Whole belly. You want to show us?
I missed the first part of what you
Like
said.
I can have a flat back, but I'll still be pushing my abdomen out to sit in.
So what if you keep the flat back and then tone the midsection, right? And it's not like a holding your belly in for like a photo. It's just like a gentle toning and like think about pulling belly back to the spine. Does that help?
Yeah, I think it's just consciously engaging rather than like tightening my muscles to like push out.
Yeah.
Zipping it in a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
Also, these are hard abs.
These are hard abs. In the world of yoga, these are like the hardest. Yeah.
For sequences or postures or poses where people are seated and supposed to relax, I struggle with ab engagement in those because like I don't know if I'm supposed to let everything go or if I'm still supposed to like keep myself upright without using my back. And so like how do you navigate that?
That's a good question. And it's going to be different based on your flexibility in different places. Because for some of us, we can literally just like have the interior, like our skeleton can serve as scaffolding and we can just like kind of stack ourselves up and sit there. Like think of a fat feet, you know, they're just kind of like stacked there. Depending on your anatomy though, like it might take more core engagement to stay upright. Ideally, we want, like when people are in an upright seat, we want them to feel comfortable. And so that means not having to overexert. And it's like breathing. Even if we're not thinking about it, we're doing it. Even if we're not thinking about our core, it serves a purpose. It keeps us upright all the time. So it's always serving a purpose and always working. So it's, I wouldn't say it's like one or the other.
even in meditation, they encourage you to
Relax.
relax, but you're engaged, like you're not falling asleep.
Yeah, yeah. When it's that balance, right?
So I don't know about the belly and the let go.
I would say it's definitely not like a holding in of the belly.
That's worse, no?
Because then the breath has nowhere to go.
I just need like a remedial sitting class. So I don't want to think everybody.
Let's play with sitting next. Let's finish it.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's start with the hard and go to the even harder. Okay. I need a demo person. Let's do someone else. Ting, come on up. Okay. So now we're going to go through some specific assists for elbow to knee. Come on to your back. Let me remember what some of these assists are because I almost never teach elbow to knee. So bring your knees over your hips. Yeah, hands behind the head. And you're going to start with inhale, lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. Exhale, twist to the right leg, extend your left leg long. Sorry, Pete does it opposite, whatever, yes. Okay, so one thing that Pete often does is kind of takes a hand here and then claws the inner foot and gives some length here. Have you had that assist by him? No, does he not do that anymore? What does that feel like? It feels nice. Yeah. That's like a little bit of a fancier one. Come back to center, inhale. And then second side, exhale, twist to the left. So I'm grabbing and I'm just giving a little traction and a little bit of like acupressure here in this ball, the, whatchamacallit, what's it called? The arch of your foot. Okay, come back to center.
Just like freeze up the low back.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I mean, it does a couple things. Let the head and shoulders come to the ground. I'm going to take this leg. You can bring that foot to the floor. It also helps to just like wake up this leg. So sometimes you'll see people come into elbow and knee and you put your legs down and the legs are just kind of like sloppy. There's nothing there. So that can be one way that we cue people. Come back up. Yeah. Extend one leg long. You don't have to do the head. So one thing is just to encourage them to like reach out through this foot. So like you could say like push into my hand. Does that feel a little different?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really good like easy cue, easy assist, and it wakes up something. One thing a lot of people do is bend this knee a little bit more. Yeah, keep this leg straight. And you can just encourage them to kind of bring the knee over the hip. It changes it, it adds something, it makes it a lot harder. Put the legs down. Let's just do the upper body. Inhale with the head, neck, and shoulders. And then exhale, twist to your left. Either way. So the most common thing I see when we're doing any variation of this core is like a total collapse over here. What does this feel like in your body? Yeah. To feel great. I know to feel like you can come back up. What I want you to do is lift this left shoulder up. How does that feel? It's a lot harder. So it's a really common thing you can release. Yep. So it's really common to take like a twisting core. I hope you guys can get the sense of this on Zoom and you can try it in your own body. But you're actually just kind of rolling the shoulders side to side and there's no core work because you're never actually lifting. And it's like, I can't tell you how many times I cue it, how many times I encourage people to lift the two shoulders up and everyone's just like rolling over. So that could be a really simple assist. So you okay with me assisting you here? Okay, inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist to the left. And I'm just gonna kind of like, you know, like it could be anything. It's just like a little like get under here, lift this up, right? Yeah. And come back to center and release. Yeah.
So what if somebody is just like not strong enough to successfully do this? Are we still encouraging them to build a mind-body connection and like try for it? Or
No, of course. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, I guess like whenever like on my journey, when I started doing abs, I would just leave with a hurt back like every day. And so
That is not the goal.
I know, but like, you know, I didn't have any other options other than to try to understand or decipher what was being told to me. And so as teachers, like, how do we cue something that's advanced like this while still having like basic engagement?
Lots of options. One thing, lots of teachers don't teach core like this, and that's okay. Like if you have not had a positive experience working with core in this way in your body, you might choose not to teach it. You know, Pete's gonna make you teach it in this training. You just gotta try stuff. It's like part of the process. But as you're going out into the world, if you teach, like you might choose to do it differently.
there are lots of other ways of doing core. There's a lot, like, I was playing with, were you in class last week when I was doing like lunges and we were keeping that same core engagement as we were like moving the upper body and doing stuff up here. So the body wants to go into this and I'm maintaining this core as I'm lifting the arms. It's one example, but there's a lot of ways that we can work with core that are not like crunches on the back. So you might be like the teacher that's like, hey, we're gonna like rock our core in all these fun creative ways that don't look like this. And that's awesome. Yeah.
There's also like a couple of down level.
That was the next thing I was gonna say. Talk to us about
You
them.
can get like, you can still get some of the main cues in there and the main benefits from it. Like you can still get the top, even though that's controversial now. To get the core engagement, and you can still get the pulling lower down in it without having your head up like the whole time. Like I've seen taught where your head is down and then you come up straight, like your head back down as opposed to keeping it up all the time.
Or the legs could stay on the ground the whole time.
Yeah. Or I do legs straight up now because like it feels better on my back.
Yeah.
This is my leg.
Totally.
Straight. Like,
And like you, this is hardcore. But you know, pelvic tilts could be a way of working with students.
There's tabletop abs too.
Totally, which doesn't, you know, you're still getting that same spinal articulation, spinal curves work with tabletop core, and you're working it in the exact same way, but you don't have the pressure on the spine, which for a lot of people can feel a lot better. So yeah, it's that same like plank, it's that same idea. It's like you're just containing your midsection as you do all this stuff around it, or as you just hold and fight. So this is not like you don't have to do this. You do.
Yeah.
You do. But like in 6 months, you don't have to. Like you can play with other ways. How did those assists feel? Like, let me just think, were there other things that no. So, you know, main things, giving some traction on this leg, which could be inviting them to do it. It could be you tractioning on the leg, making sure that they're not cheating on the upper body and just rolling over to one shoulder. And then, you know, if you see them kind of moving a lot and getting a lot of movement every time they extend and bend the leg, you can kind of cue or encourage, like keep those low ribs tucked in, right? It's like not the flaring of the low ribs. It's not exaggerating that arch of the low back. So those are some ways that you can play on to assist here.
He's gonna make us do this.
He's gonna make you do this.
Wow.
He's totally doing it. And like,
He's gonna have half of us teach and the other half take the
Yeah,
class.
I know.
And we're gonna, every time you're not in teaching, you have to.
you have to be assisted. So really, do you have any questions?
Sorry, I had one more. So
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot tonight. I've been with like a 2-year-old all weekend. So anything that isn't pretend play, I'm like all for it. So I've done
You're welcome to sit up if you want.
legs straight.
Yeah.
And then taking the bent foot and pressing it.
You're just ready to show us.
Okay.
Come into the center and tell me your name again.
Brian.
Brian, that's right.
But like, I feel like sometimes it feels really good and sometimes it feels like almost like my sacrum's like spreading in a way that like doesn't feel great.
Show us.
So. And I'm pressing this into this, so it allows me to like. Down.
And you like it?
I used to, but now because of my low back, it feels like there's less. It feels less stable.
Do it again.
Low back.
Are you kind of pushing both legs into one another? You know, there is core that kind of, that Pete will teach that is a little bit similar if you have like rolled up block, mat between your thighs, you're squeezing a block between your thighs. You're kind of getting a little bit of that.
Yeah,
And if you think about that, it feels
It
different.
feels different than the block. This feels like, it literally feels like my sacrum's like spreading like this.
And that feels good to you or
It
bad?
doesn't feel good anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it used to.
Is it helping sit up like your Fonda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I
that's
think
why I
that's
liked it. but-
What's helpful, like, cause I have the, I don't know what were the two terms that you used for?
Lordosis and kurtosis.
Lordosis and kurtosis, which
I'll
one
look
is
them
that?
up before I come next time.
Upward
Oh, are you talking about the pelvis?
Like my abdomen
belly.
go out versus in.
Oh, sorry, those are spinal curves. I don't know.
But
Buttering.
when doing
Yeah.
this, it feels like I'm zipping in more
Yeah, yeah.
versus zipping.
Right, which is why I liked it initially, but now I feel like it destabilizes.
Well, we're gonna play with this. Let's see, are we gonna do that next? No. But like if we look, let's grab a block. At home, grab a block too. Sorry, I'm out of the frame. Grab a block, put it between your inner legs. Yes, you too. You too, everyone. Yeah, if you don't have a block at home, grab a soup can or imagine that you have a block. Yeah, you have one. Yeah, and actually come up to standing. This is not for. Thank you for handing out blocks. Is that Mark?
No, you got, oh, okay, I didn't see you.
Oh, you got it right there. I didn't see you that. Yes. Yeah, okay, block between your inner upper thighs. Okay, I'm just gonna spin this a tiny bit this way so that I'm not standing in front of people and you can still see me. Okay. Send the block back, internal rotation. Right, like you can squeeze your thighs on the block and then imagine you can send it back. Can everyone access that? Yep, do the opposite, squeeze the block and then send it forward. So talk to me about what's happening at the leg level first. So send the block back again. What's happening at the leg level? Internal rotation of the legs. You definitely have that compression. You're squeezing the thighs into the block. Okay, so you're getting that. That's the internal rotation of the legs. Now do the opposite. Squeeze the block, send it. Sorry, go back. Send the block back. True. What's happening at the level of the spine? You can go from you're curving it more.
Yeah.
Right? So you're changing the curve of the spine. You're getting more arch in the low back. Do the opposite. Squeeze your block, send it forward. It's a little like awkward and weird. What's that feel like in the legs? What's happening at the rotation level of the legs? It's an external rotation of the thighs. What's happening in the spine? The butt, yeah. And you're getting like a little bit more like kind of like rounding of the low back. Yeah. Okay. So what you might be, I mean, without us all getting into that position, you know, like as you're doing an external rotation of the block, you're kind of fanning out the sacrum a little bit more, which could give you more stability, could add more pressure and pain.
This here feels better than this.
Yeah.
Too much arching actually hurts my back.
Yeah.
This
Okay. Let's play with it. Let's move. Let's stay with this and pop around. Yeah, let's say you can release your block. You can sit or you can stand. Let me see. What do I want to do with this? Let's just pop over to some, actually stand up. Sorry, sit down, stand up.
Oh, it's good, keeping us awake.
Yeah.
Keeping myself awake too.
Okay, stand on your right foot, lift your left thigh up to your chest. And if you need to, be by a wall. Yeah, and then do it again. Both feet down, lift your left thigh up. Notice what happens to the leg, to the hip, to your alignment. What happens? Do that a couple times.
Your hip splice the right a little. My hip splice.
Your hip kind of opens out.
On the stand.
Oh yeah, the standing leg, you kind of lose that. Okay, what happens on the lifted hip?
I find I engage at my hip flexor more, but that's probably because I cycle.
But your hip gauge, I mean, your hip flexors are contracting in order to lift the leg. We'll talk about that later. But, and like biomechanic wise, what's happening here? I'm going to over exaggerate it. When I lift my leg up, my hips coming up and yeah, my hips kind of coming up a lot more. Do you see that? Like my hips are no longer fully square. I'm going to do this for you guys as I lift the leg. I'm kind of over exaggerating, but my hip lifts, right? So when we come into all of our standing poses, let's call it a high lunge. Come into a high lunge with your right foot forward. Yeah, for some reason I'm on my left foot, but whatever. Yeah, and then kind of exaggerate it. Like as you take a big step forward, let that right, I'm just gonna not mirror you. Let that right hip go forward. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that with our students. And then what we're trying to do is kind of auto correct that and bring the hips back to square. So oftentimes with the foot that steps forward, we want to kind of like, whoo, pull that hip crease back. So that's going to be an external rotation of the leg there. You're pulling the outer leg back. Brian, is that your name?
Yes. What's causing what tightness is causing that? Is that like psoas? Is that hip flexor?
You just move the position of your legs. We're just trying to bring the pelvis back to neutral.
No, I mean, but like if a student does that, or it's
It could be a lot of different reasons, but it's also just you move the position of the body.
This
So
is easier.
we'll get there. We'll get there though.
But you're hurting your knee a little bit, and this is harder on the muscle.
So stay in your, you can switch legs if you want. In fact, please do. Yeah, left foot forward, right leg back. Okay. Square your hips. Do that little external rotation of the front hip. So drag that left hip back. Everyone feel that? Yeah. Now the back leg, you're going to do the opposite. So anytime we're in a standing pose, this front leg, we're externally rotating it. We're internally rotating the back leg. So think about lifting up through the inner back leg, the inner thigh of the back leg.
Makes it way more stable.
Way more stable when we wake up the legs. Yeah. So you can imagine here, like if you had a block here and you were just working with the front leg, you're pushing the block forward. With this back leg, if you were squeezing, you're pushing the block back. That's internal and external rotation. We're going to play with that in a whole bunch of poses. But does anyone like not get that at all?
How do you avoid hyperextension in the back leg?
That's a really good question. Yeah. Okay, so here's, if you guys didn't hear that question, it's like, how do you avoid hyperextension of the back leg? Sorry, of the spine.
In the back leg, like my knee,
Oh.
I'll shoot it.
Okay, so that's a different question.
We're
than I
all
thought.
sensitive.
All of the above, any other extension will do. That help they like shorten theirs.
Good, but I think the most important thing is to use the quadricep. Like, so instead of coming into a lunge here where I'm kind of lazy through the back leg, if I find that internal rotation of the back leg and I hug the quad up to the femur bone.
But that's when I feel my kneecap.
So then you back off a little bit. Yeah. Do you have hypermobility?
I think.
Have you heard the scissoring cue? Scissoring your legs together?
Oh, like tighten up,
Like
so you're
bring-
holding, yeah,
like,
yeah,
like scissors. I have
That helps.
mobility, and that's the one that helped me.
yeah, cause it's like, I can do that and I feel stable, but then I feel like all of a sudden my knee lost.
It's funny, I've actually never heard of that in a lunge. Like in triangle pose, for example, that's a really common one for people to lock the front knee. And there's a lot of things we can do. We can like add a block. I can't do it without a mat, but like stick a block there or just cue that micro bend in the front knee and then hug the quadricep up. You can do the same thing with that back leg there. Micro bend of the knee and then hug the quad into the femur. So the same concept though, you can come out of it, of this high lunge, it's going to apply basically to all of our standing poses. And I find that as a framework for thinking about our standing poses, it gives us a really, really strong foundation. I'll turn and face you guys because I've been facing the other way for a bit. All right, so warrior one, it's the same thing. My hip wants to kind of naturally go out here, but I can tug it back and then engage this back leg and kind of lift up through the inner thigh. Same thing becomes even more important when I go into like a warrior three. I'm hugging back through the standing leg, gives me a whole lot more stability. And then I'm lifting up through the inner thigh. One of the things, let me cheat and use a prop. One of the things in warrior three, for example, you see a lot is this, right? And it's like, I'm unstable, nothing's happening, nothing's engaged, the hips aren't square. So it's squaring the hips, externally rotating the front leg and firming the thigh, internally rotating the back leg and lifting it.
Half moon.
Ooh. So now when we open our hips for warrior two, triangle, half moon, it's still there. So I'm going to face away from you. Here, let's just start with warrior two. If I don't, what you see a lot is this in warrior two. I'm collapsing my knee in, right? So we can work at that with the foot level. I'm totally over exaggerating. We could work at it at the knee level and just literally like pull the knee over. We can also work at it at the hip level. We're hugging this hip back. We're finding that same external rotation here, and it kind of works its way down the whole chain, right? So we can work at it at any of these levels, but we want all three of those, the ankle, the knee, and the hip, to be in line. Yeah. Same thing with the back leg. You might see a lot of like kind of lazy, I have a knee injury on the back leg, so let me switch sides. You might see kind of like that, getting super lazy. I'm not doing much. I'm not working this. But if you find that internal rotation of the back leg, it kind of lights up the whole pose. That same concept applies when we come into our triangle. External rotation, internal rotation. Same thing applies when we come here. Internal rotation, external rotation. Is that like really confusing? Or very clear?
So clear, but also where are your hips pointing at?
Yeah. They don't have to be, I mean, you know, I would say tradition is like warrior one, it's straight ahead. In reality, it's like they're a little askew, and that's fine. We're still working those same energetics and muscles of the legs, and the hips aren't going to be like, and same with warrior two. Like if I take the hips and I really face them this way, look, you just did it too. Your front knee caved in, right? We don't want that. We want the legs engaged and the hips kind of land in this like warrior 1.5 pose in most cases, right?
And
so
the same for triangle and
triangle's the exact same. You're just like, we only have like 5 yoga poses. We just do it in different orientations and we add something here, but like warrior two, triangle, half moon, they're all the same pose, essentially, especially half moon and triangle. It's just like now we add the balance. Does that make sense with hips? Like you might find some traditional teachers that are like, hips need to be exactly square to the front of the mat, exactly square to the side of the mat. I think we also have to like accommodate for the realities of our bodies. There's like, you know, we're working the pelvis towards neutral and we still have to like, we have bodies. We have to accommodate for all the flesh and the muscles and the tissues and things and
injuries.
And the injuries.
Is this an okay time to ask about in warrior one? I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, well, you know, make room for your hips if you want to widen your stance. And then
totally.
And then I remember I
I
used to think that was wrong when I would see teachers teaching it to teenagers at my school and be like, right, it's supposed to be aligned, and then trying it and doing a much wider stance, and I have wide hips, and it's like, oh, that's great. But
yeah,
ideally, before, now I'm like, I'm kind of forgetting that it was aligned differently before, like, and so it's like,
sure.
now it's
I mean, if you look at like some of the really old ancient yoga philosophy texts, it's like it's not designed for women, first of all. So like hips aren't really a thing. So yeah. So you might see some of that like heel aligned with heel. I would say most teachers now, most teachers don't teach that way anymore. We have the breadth of the yoga tradition to learn from. We also have human anatomy and biomechanics and modern science, and we can blend these two and find really beautiful ways to work with the body. So
with my low back, like if I was too forward, one way of doing it is just like bringing the whole back of my body back.
totally. What if you engage this leg? Woo! Yeah, so you have space between your heels, which is great. And I would say you could even walk that back foot out even more. Yeah, and then play with a little bit of tuck of this hip back and this internal thigh lifting up. How's that feel? Yeah. Okay. Switch legs. Let's do some assist in warrior one.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have hips to speak of, but I feel like to get all of the cues in, like, I just like it doesn't matter what time of my, you know, whether I was practicing yoga 6 hours a day or whatever.
Yeah.
It always felt better and much more attainable to get all of those cues in if it was like heel to heel alignment. Like when I started practicing Ashtanga, it was just like the heel to arch stuff. It's just like, this is impossible.
So when I say heel to heel, I'm almost thinking the same as heel to arch. And versus what we do most of the time is like now like
Yeah,
be
yeah,
on
yeah,
train tracks.
right, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's.
but
what-
you like this better.
I like that better.
Great.
Yeah.
This is why we have the diversity of bodies that we have. And you might work with a student and be like, hey, widen the feet. And they're like, actually, I don't like this. Great, bring the feet back together. You like it better that way. That's great. For me, like I can't get like any of this internal, external like refinement through my hips if I'm that close. I got hips. I've birthed babies.
Yeah.
Like,
So we should consider, because I'm kind of built like a 14-year-old boy, so that actually is better for me.
great,
And wide actually
Yeah.
hurts.
great.
So we
Okay.
should consider hips or like the person's torso.
It could be inner, it could be inner.
It just
I
depends.
might not be able to see it.
Yeah, you know, like, gosh, would I even teach like a lunge with, does that feel better to you? Lunge on a straight line when you were talking about alignment?
Yeah. So so often they'll say like, bring your leg out, that doesn't feel good to me.
Well, that's too wide. Bring that back leg in.
It's like that's better.
Really?
Yeah. That's okay. But then if it goes too much, which they'll often say bring it out further, then I feel it my psoas.
I think people,
Yeah.
when people do that, it's like for the stability, people want to balance, and that's why they need to go out.
Yeah.
It's
If
totally
I'm
one of the
facing-
reasons, you're right.
Yeah, and I'm not engaging. When I do toe to heel alignment, like you were doing, that feels better. I'm doing the scissor and you talk about it. When I go this way, I'm not engaging, I'm just kind of like.
Hanging out.
Yeah, that's what I
Chill.
feel it, yeah.
So like, in a sense, it's like
hard to engage.
easier or less more disengaged.
It's just not engaged, it's like a lazy leg versus here, I'm actually engaging the inner thigh muscle.
When your legs closer in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you will never in a public class go into this level of nuance. And yet, this is why we do trainings, is just to think about it and play with it and feel it in our bodies and know that like, for one person, it feels good this way, for another person, it feels the opposite. That's all part of it, right? And so what you can offer, sometimes this is, you know, if I'm talking to someone here, I'm gonna steal the mat for a second.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to someone, you know, into a high lunge, I might start in downward dog. And I'm gonna step that right foot forward. I'm not giving the nuanced cue of where that foot lands every single class that I teach. Now, if I see someone that looks super unstable and they have this kind of alignment or a lot of rotation one way, then I might play with it. But you don't have to like be set on, it has to be this way, and I'm gonna teach it that way all the time. It's knowing that we have different bodies, different hips, different alignment, different, you know, all of it. Do you want to come back and let's do some assists on warrior one? So come into your warrior one. Yeah. Okay. Do you feel comfortable like getting sloppy with the front leg? Yeah. It's honestly usually the opposite way that people get sloppy. So an assist here, I don't know if you guys can see, but her leg is kind of caving into the midline of the mat. A cue for an assist could be as simple as like, ooh, open that leg out. You know, you're finding a more stable foundation of the whole ball of the foot here. So it could be that. Sometimes it's interesting to like come alongside person, mirror it, go get sloppy with that leg again, no, do the opposite, and then be like, oh, push that leg into me. Ah, there it is. So that's one kind of common thing here. What are other common things? You guys talk about wrapping of the shoulders. So I'd say one common thing we see, and feel free to take some of the lunge out of the front leg if you're getting tired. One common thing that we see with the shoulders is like big, broad, open shoulders here. And you can come and just literally like give them that little wrap, right? Or it could be the opposite, where the shoulders are like hiked up to their ears. And you're like, ooh, settle those shoulders down, right? Let's see another body. Somebody else come up, thank you. Somebody else come up and do a warrior one. Let's see what else we can find. It's you. Remind me your name.
Alex.
Alex. Warrior one. Make it, and don't make it like your best warrior one. Yeah. Oh, we have so much to work with. What do people see?
Neck is not.
What else?
darn tough socks.
Heck yeah.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
For life.
Hands are just all over the place.
Hands are all over the place. You're like a gymnast. Okay, let's focus on the lower body first.
Okay.
What do you see in the lower body? Don't leave it.
Well,
Warrior one is a much shorter stance than warrior two. So I would say it's not necessarily too short, but it could
So
be.
he's pressing his back foot, back heel into the ground.
Yeah, so his back leg is dead. He can't see it, so he's forgotten about it. So you can literally just like, woo, ground down through there. You automatically did all the upper stuff. So we could do it from here too, get lazy again. Yeah, so we could just be like, woo, engage this thigh, pull the inner thigh back. It could also be ground the heel down. Yeah,
Do we,
you can come out of it.
do we cue the knee the same way we do in like a lunge? Like, is there a place where if we see students where their knee is coming a little too far forward? And we would
Sure.
foot?
Yeah, so generally speaking, for a warrior one, a warrior two, a high crescent lunge, you want to find knee over the ankle and not extended beyond it. A low lunge where you have the back knee down, you can extend beyond that. The other thing is thinking of this alignment here, like these structures, ankle, knee, and hip in a single plane. And so that's when we see the knee cave in or exteriorly rotate too much. We're like taking that out of that plane, and so we're trying to find that better alignment there. Yeah, you can come out
I
of
see
it.
the teenagers a lot at the school, like their front leg will be back and then their knee is way over their foot and.
Yeah, it's really common. A lot of people come into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that might be a question of like, okay, back off. And then it's maybe a little bit boring. So it's like, okay, widen the stance or take the stance longer.
And they don't want to. They don't want to take they're like 16 and they're like.
Yeah, and a 16-year-old getting into a rough shape is kind of a miracle. I have a 16-year-old. Like getting a 16-year-old to do anything is a miracle. So like it doesn't have to be
Right.
perfect.
So the teacher just focuses on having them breathe.
Yes.
And I'm just like, they're all doing it wrong. Like, oh God.
I would say the risk for a 16-year-old overextending their knee and finding injury, they're 16, they're at their like peak of physical form. Now, like a 45-year-old middle-aged woman like myself, if I do that over time, it's gonna hurt my knee. So for whom and for when? Let's talk about your upper body. Come back into your warrior one, switch legs if you want. Yeah, so we know these assists. We can like fire a back leg, we can open up the front knee. And then let's play here. Yeah, so get all wonky in the head. So it can literally just be like a little, like a, remember, this is what upright and spine looks like. It could be like a little, tractioning. Let's open the shoulders big and wide again. He's getting a little too much armpit forward. We can take the shoulders and kind of wrap them. Yeah, and look at what that did up the line. You like woke up the fingers, reach out through all 10 fingers. That's an easy cue. I'm saying it to him, but I'm also saying it to everyone in the class, right? That looks really good. The other pitfall I will say with the warrior one is get a big arch in the spine. So over exaggerate, like, wow. Yeah, sometimes that might be what we're going for, but we've lost all core engagement. So we can tuck that low ribs down, keep that midsection engaged even as we reach up. Okay, you're free. Yes.
And it looks like you're making the slightest contact just to bring their attention there. And you're not really pushing.
Yeah. That's more my style of assist. He is a very different assister. And so I'm going to go through some of his assists because I've learned them all from him. But like, I do feel like oftentimes it's just like, this is what I'm talking about. This, like, it doesn't always have to be this, and that's for alignment. Like if you're going for some big opening, it might be a little bit more hands-on. I do both, I guess, but like, I kind of do feel we can not drive by poke, but we can just be like, yeah, pull this hip back, lean this, like we can do subtle things.
Well, and then
quite powerful.
And then they get to do it themselves.
They're the ones engaging the muscle to get themselves into that position.
Yeah.
They find that muscle memory.
Yeah.
Quickly, how?
You're next.
How does it change the cue with hands together in warrior one?
It's different. I mean, the cueing itself, I'm not gonna go into, but what it offers, if you're actively pushing the hands together, do it. Reach the hands forward, push the palms together. You guys don't get out of this at home, do it too. I don't see you. Do it. Yeah. Hands together, palms in front of you. Woo. Yeah. Now really actively push the palms into one another. What do you feel at the level of the shoulders? They're working. You're like pushing the hands together. You're engaging and like finding this deep, like pulling into center of the shoulders. Now, if you're in a lunge and doing that, or a warrior one, you were saying, and you continue to push the hands together, and now you're lifting up, try not to lift the lower ribs. All of a sudden you have this whole different core engagement. It's like functional core as you lift up. Question, does that make sense? Yeah. It's like, it's different, right? You could do a warrior one, I suppose, with a block and like get that same thing. That could be kind of interesting.
Does that change the, I know in like Ashtanga, it's like extreme because like your head is back to it. So it's like,
Yeah.
But does raising the arm change what's happening in the spine?
Well, that's the idea. If we're making it into core work, the idea is that we don't want it to change the spine. We're not going for, if we're here, and then all of a sudden we're here. That's fine if that's what you're going for, but you lose all midsection engagement. If you keep the core engaged and you lift the arms, spine is staying as it was. It's staying in that neutral spine. Laura, sorry. You. I know, I'm sorry.
There's maybe a whole book to know what is the warrior one.
Laura, come here so they can see you on the Zoom.
If there's like warrior one, I don't know, you tell me, it's a good warrior one.
That's a great warrior one.
And then this is good for these psoas, that Achilles, this muscle,
quadriceps,
this muscle,
hamstrings, glutes,
and
more glutes,
these, and here, and short. Like, what is each position good for?
There's a perfect book for you. I don't have any of my books with you, but there are books, like there are yoga pose books that show, like, do you have any of these with you?
One?
I don't know. I don't think this one does it.
Science of yoga does. Science of yoga, okay.
Yeah, I can bring some next time also, but there are books that show you the poses and what's engaging, what's stretching, what's working. You can also just do the pose and feel it in your body like you just did. You don't need a book to tell you it. You just did it. Yeah, but you don't even if you can't name the poses, you just pointed to them all. You felt what was engaged, right? We have all this inside of us all the time.
I mean,
We don't have to be anatomy experts.
From the wrong form, then it's like, whoa, this is training. This feels horrible.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Totally.
I don't know.
Let's.
How about telescoping the ribs? Are we still doing?
Yes, we are, but I wouldn't say we're doing it here. But we could. Let's get a different body up. Somebody that hasn't been up here. Come on up.
Are you doing more than one class on these assists?
Yes,
Okay.
we have 3.
Okay.
Oh, good. But it's still gonna be hard to get through. Come into warrior one. And then actually somebody else, make it, yeah, that's the perfect warrior one. Stay right where you are. Somebody else come assist her. Somebody else hasn't been up. You. Come here, there we go. Camila, that's right. What do you see? Talk us through it. What would you do? Foundation first.
I think I would go to that heel.
Yes, go. Can you guys see the?
Yeah. We see fine, yeah.
Pull it down.
I'm good.
Yeah. So you can kind of, yeah.
Do like that's
I actually really like that.
And it could be just like a grounding there.
And then I guess that'll like brings that up.
Yeah. And then look at her leg. What how could you encourage that same action at the leg level, that back leg, that right leg? If you guys can't see, her back leg's a little bit sloppy.
Sorry, I see it. Thank you.
Yeah. And so one thing I will say, avoid touching joints proper, like in terms of like, we just don't want to jam into a joint.
brought her knee back instead, come up to the thigh, and it's like, oh, you're strong. So you're like pulling that thigh back. Okay. Yeah.
And then would you ever, like, how would you encourage?
Yeah, and he's gonna yell at me because now we're all gonna be like poking at each other. So this is just to get the alignment, let's say. It's not necessarily like the most refined assist. I would say her lower body looks great. Does anyone see anything that I mean, there's like always refining. We can go deeper and deeper forever, but I think her lower body looks great. I wouldn't assist anything else here. Cassandra asked about telescoping the ribs. You could gently, are you okay with my hands here? So you could bring hands to ribs and just encourage like a little lifting up, right, of the ribs. You're just literally like creating more space, bringing the ribs not into a back bend, but lifting the ribs up from the pelvis. Yep, and then what I would do, well, actually, you play with her upper body.
And I feel like I just want to be like the.
Don't poke, don't poke. Use your words if you want to poke, and instead. Lengthening,
good word.
yeah.
And then.
Totally. Yeah, so that was a great one. That like, whoo, you see that a lot. You're just literally kind of like taking the shoulders, giving it a little bit of external. Let's not talk about internal, external in terms of the arms, because when they're overhead, it's all opposite. And yeah, you can traction the neck. You can also like lean your head forward a little bit. Yeah. For some reason, people do this. You can also be like, push your head into my hand. Ooh, well, okay, not that one. So those are options. Yeah, and then sometimes it says like, put your fingers into my hands. I'm short, so that doesn't always reach. That might be a verbal to be like, reach out for all 10 fingers. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, now you do a warrior one. And somebody else come up. Make it sloppy. All right.
Six-year-old teenager. Is it okay if I touch it?
Talk to them. Talk to them. Let them know what you're doing.
Pressing through. I don't really have the verbiage, but I'll try. Lifting the thigh back. Wall. I'm up and wrap shoulders. Active hands, pointing the fingers to the sky.
Beautiful work.
I got a question, Maureen. What if the back leg, if the person has a bent and it might be really tight for them?
Totally.
How? That's a verbal.
Yeah, that might be as far as they can go. That's okay, right? Sometimes it's sloppiness and lays and an unawareness of our body's alignment and capacity. Sometimes it's a physical limitation. And so you might say like, you know, reach out through the heel and firm that back leg more. They might get to their limit. That's okay. If I were working with somebody privately, maybe I would throw like a little wedge under their back heel so they can find that extension of the back leg, even if the heel can't reach the earth. So, you know, there's lots of options that you might not ever play with in a public class, but it's like fun to think about. Like there are different scenarios for teaching. A blanket.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Please.
You're very liberal with your hands, and how would well I'm not being negative, but how would a guy, there's 4 guys here, how would we approach that?
Are you saying just in terms of touching someone?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm watching, it was just great, but I'm not going, I'd get in trouble for that. Maybe. I mean, there's
were you a part of the Zoom when we were talking about the consent earlier?
no, I bopped in late. I apologize. I did the other day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will just say, without going back to that topic, because we did talk about it.
Yeah.
building relationships with your students. And
Bingo.
that might come over time. Maybe as a male teacher, that takes longer for you, especially
Yeah.
when working with female bodies. That's okay. Like assists are not, you don't have to assist. You can give verbal assists.
Mhm.
You might stay away from different parts of the body is another way, but always having consent. So whether that's verbal consent, whether that's a little consent card, but it's important to always have consent and to make sure that you're teaching in a way that if somebody doesn't feel comfortable, that they have permission to say like, stop.
Yeah, I totally understand all that. Yeah, that's cool.
And I'm going to be liberal with my hands because we're talking about assist.
No, I'm not complaining, but I was like, I'm trying to,
Other scenario.
as a guy, I'm trying to figure out how I would maneuver that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I would cautious is a great way to
Yeah, yeah.
cautious, but also confident. Like you do offer, like physical touch does offer something.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I know we did it, is there ever, I guess besides like restorative postures, is there ever a reality where you would come over and assist without saying anything, or do you usually kind of follow it up with some sort of verbal report?
Well, okay, so what I was going to comment on your assists were, those were perfect alignment things. It did feel a little bit when you're like, without giving any cues, just boom, boom, boom. It felt a little bit like corrections. And I think that's something we have to be wary of. Like, we're not correcting our students. Like, everyone's coming in, they're doing their best. Like, our job is not like to be like correctors. Like we're helping them deepen, we're helping them refine. And so when we can use language like, hey, try this, hey, root down here, hey, push into this, like that feels a little bit more playful and an invitation for exploration as opposed to like, you know, and does that kind of address your question a little bit?
Not the words. Right?
That's okay. We're just playing.
I
We're
like
just
that
like,
one with I wasn't even sure how to verbalize it.
yeah, that's okay.
Mhm.
Can I add something too?
Absolutely.
I feel like the best corrections are when someone tells me something specific, but
This.
but doesn't touch me, because then I can feel the difference in my own body and then I can do it myself. So I feel like, John, if you never touch anybody, you might be giving them the best assist ever, because it's actually like now I can replicate that every time I do that pose. Whereas if someone like the ones that just like, oh, that just feels nice, you're like, okay, cool. I can't do that to myself.
Okay, bye. That's good. Thank you.
Sometimes-
Appreciate it.
Sometimes I do some of those assists that are literally, you know, people yell at me, but it's like a little, like, it's just like so subtle. It's like a finger here. It's like pull back here. It's hard to construe that as something like offensive because it's so subtle, or like, you know, I don't know. So there are ways of giving, even if there's like a little bit of touch, it's just like reminding, like, this is the part of your body I'm talking about. Lift up here. But I think you're absolutely correct. Thanks for
Okay.
offering that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I feel like it's safer too, like if we're, because Pete's challenged us to like think about teaching beginners.
Yeah.
They're the hardest ones to teach.
So
you're
hard.
explaining every detail. But if you just give someone like like subtle contact with just changing range of motion a little bit, then it gives them something to build on. They may not be ready to like, you know, open the hips to that extent or whatever. So it's just, it feels safer, kind of back to what John is saying too. Like you could do that verbally though, it doesn't have to be physical contact, but.
And I want to piggyback on that. If you're working with a brand new yogi and you come over and their warrior one is like this, it's freaking terrible and they're doing their best and you just like boom, 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 boom them into it. They might feel attacked. They might be like, oh, I suck at this. Like, that's not our point. So it might be like, I'm going to pick one thing. I see this knee here, that like hurts my knees just doing it. So I'm like, why don't you just, you know, do this? Or like pivot the toes out or try it. It might be like one thing. We don't have to, like, we don't have to get everyone on the cover of Yoga Journal. In fact, let's never do that. But like, we don't have to change everything. We don't have, like, it might be enough to like work with one student on one thing and then say like, oh, here you are in Warrior 2 again. Let's do that again. And then that class, they realize, okay, like this is one thing that I can do to,
to engage through my poses more. It doesn't have to be, it's going to be annoying if you're a new student and the teacher's all over you, changing and modifying and correcting everything. It's terrible. So a lot of times a new student comes into class and they just want to be left alone because they are so intimidated. They have no idea what they're doing. And so to like, yeah, to gang up on them might be counterproductive. I want to follow this through with some of the other standing poses. So tell me your name again.
Sylvia.
Sylvia, come on up. Let's do a high lunge. So a lot of the same anatomy, a lot of the same alignment. Yep, high lunge. Hands up. Talk. What do we see? What can we work on?
Her knees kind of collapse down.
Yeah. What would it feel like to straighten your back leg? Yeah, and that could be an assist that's as simple as push into my hand. Yep. It could be an assist that's like lift up through here. That's the same thing. One thing that we can do, it's a little bit more of an intimate thing, is like a boop. And then I'm kind of holding that in place. This works better for like a warrior. Oh, like a, yeah, if I felt like you were collapsed here, I could give you a little bit more space there. How about
The men are.
Yeah. Do warrior two and face the computer. Yeah. So I learned this from a male teacher. I don't do it, but I'm teaching it to you so you can make your own decisions. Come into your warrior two. And now let's reverse. Inhale, right arm up, lean back. So right away, I do see that her knees a little bit collapse. So I could grab the leg and kind of pull it in. And then this assist is just like, ooh, getting into this little side bend a little bit more.
And that's once I've been coming to your class for a couple months. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, or never.
Yeah.
But yes.
I did that. Yoga where they work together and do the
I mean, I love assist. I love, it's how I've learned the poses.
Yeah.
And how like you, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you feel it and it doesn't hurt anymore. It's like not, it's easier to hold it. Like when like someone's
What's your favorite warrior two assist?
My favorite warrior two assist has been to come up here.
Like somebody
to use my
touching or
pelvic. Just like right here. Oh, I see. What did she say? It was words, and it was like to use my to lift up here while I went down. It just like made it so much stronger.
I like
And
that
then
one too.
And then I like to, for me, like I tend to go out this way, so I like to come back this way.
Get way longer.
Yeah.
I will say just come into your warrior two and lunge forward. This is the thing I see most warrior twos looking like. You know, some of these like really nuanced feel good assists, like what you were just talking about, like with maybe some pelvic alignment. It's more nuanced, but I would say 90% of people we see coming in, it's like this, and it's like, oh, let's keep this hip here, let's keep the foot here, and just align your spine, stack your head over your heart over your pelvis, right? Your warrior two looks great. I don't have anything else to play with it. Yeah, come on out of it. Let me just look at what Pete's warrior two things are that he wants us to look at. So you don't even have warrior two. Do you guys not teach warrior two in this first one?
Yeah, we do. The one you did, the first one you did where you, and reverse warrior.
And reverse warrior. And just from an anatomy standpoint, come back into your reverse warrior.
This one?
Yeah. What's happening on this right side in terms of stretch or strength or extension of the obliques? Yeah, I would call it a side bend. We're kind of coming into a side bend. And so with any side bends, we're aiming to increase this distance. You're okay with my hand? So we're trying to increase this distance from the hip up to the shoulder, maybe the shoulder out to the hands. So here, you know, this kind of gives a little bit of that sensation of getting a little bit more stretch here. Come out of this and come to your seat. All the way down and come into a seated side bend. So inhale, reach the two arms tall. Exhale, right hand down, left arm over. It's almost the same, lower body's different, but we can do the same thing. We want to stabilize one part of her body. We're stabilizing the hips and try to get more length in the side body. That could come from like the arm. But just to think about, like, that's what we're aiming for in a side bend. It's this side getting longer, more stretch here.
How would you like verbalize that without physical sense?
What I would say is to anchor her left sitting bone down and then reach the left arm out of it and see how much space she can get along the whole left sided body. Are you teaching side bends? Are you teaching? But then I would also like for some breathing cues here, you know, breathe it, like feel, imagine, whatever you want to call it, breathing into the left lung, and how when you find that limit, when you hit your edge there and then you feel the breath, it's the breath moving or the lungs moving all the surrounding tissue that brings a lot of the sensations. You don't have to write all that down. Yeah.
For everything but the side bends that we've been doing, is the goal to keep a neutral spine throughout the warriors and the lunge?
Yes. Yes, I will say not everything. Like if we start talking about forward folds, if we start talking about
That's
back
the one
bends.
we've done today before the side.
I mean, now occasionally will I teach a warrior one where we arch the spine, or will I teach, you know, a humble warrior where we're leaning back and then leaning forward? Those are going to take us out of a neutral spine. But a traditional warrior one, neutral spine, traditional warrior two, neutral spine, triangle pose, neutral spine, half moon pose, neutral spine. One way that is interesting to teach neutral spine in like a lunge position. So if you come into a high lunge, can you just see me there? Yeah. And then you bend the back knee a lot. You kind of get this like, what is it? It's a posterior tilt of the pelvis, right? Why don't you just come up and do it? Because why not? Do it at home too.
I can't do it.
And I'll come into the midline of the middle of the mat. Right? So come into your lunge. Hands on hips, bend the back knee a lot. And then stay here for a half an hour until you start cursing me. Did we do this last week in class? Yeah. So find that little posterior tilt of the pelvis. Here we're kind of over exaggerating a tiny bit, tailbone tucking down, rounding of the low back. But I guess the purpose of that is I feel this front or this back leg fire up. Yeah. Right? Now we can keep the pelvis in that alignment and then straighten the back leg. And what that does is normally when we come into a high lunge, we kind of will over arch the low back. And so that's just kind of bringing us back towards a neutral spine here. Right? And so you kind of find it here, keep the alignment there, straighten the back leg. Try it on the second side, because why not?
That's how one instructor would always lead it into high lunge, is to first bend the knee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we think about sequencing, which is not what I'm supposed to be talking about, oftentimes we do a low lunge first. So we get all this opening first. And then we do a high lunge later in the sequence. Like it's a lot to come into a high lunge right away. So bend the back leg, find that little posterior tilt of the pelvis. Keep that, straighten the back leg. Now you're not overarching the back leg, the spine, the low back. Yeah. Let's warrior one. Let's do a low lunge. Somebody in you, Annie, it's you. Come into a low lunge. Make it sloppy. Yes, yes, I love the sloppiness. Yes. Okay, so yeah, don't injure yourself. That's never the goal. But what I'm going to take her back foot. A lot of people kind of sickle the back foot in. You kind of are doing that, but it's not so extreme. So you can literally just like boo, or like slide it out, extend it straight back from the leg. So you can kind of adjust that back foot. Does that feel okay? Yeah. You were asking about telescoping the ribs. So you could like, ooh, lift the ribs up. And so you're literally just like maybe stabilizing the hips a little bit or some part of you a little bit, hands on the ribs and lifting the rib cage up from the pelvis. Right? Then we can bring the arms. Ooh, wrap the shoulders, reach out through the arms. If her front leg were super wobbly, or, you know, if it were leaning far in, we could move it out. We could encourage her to ground through the two sides of the ball of the foot. And we can encourage her to breathe. Breathe. Right? And it could be like, ooh, breathe into my hand. And I can feel that. And release. You're free. Other low lunge, where did that flicker go? Other low lunge assist. Straighten the back ankle, front foot alignment. Yeah, you say not directly in line with the back knee, keep the foot a little wider. So this is what we were talking about with the other lunges. So, you know, maybe not a train track line for most of our hips, that's not going to work. It's going to be more stable and a little more spacious to give a little bit more space there. This is one where I think it's okay to lunge deep. Now, that being said, we don't want to lunge in anything, you know, whether it's there, whether it's a malasana. Sorry, I feel like my back's always to you guys. You can scooch too. Anywhere, we don't want to just like dump the body anywhere. So if we're in a low lunge and like, I'm not doing anything with my legs here, I'm just collapsed. So one thing we can do is encourage students to use the legs, to really use the feet. So this front ankle, push it down, the back shin, kick it down. All of a sudden, this whole front side, front hip is engaged. Yeah, do it. Why not? Come into low lunge. Do it at home too. Yeah, doesn't matter. Well, actually, let's be consistent. Let's do right foot forward. Switch it up. Right foot forward, left knee down. Team, do you want a yoga mat? You can steal mine if you want. Just go back to it. Yeah. And then take a moment, just dip the hips, do nothing. And then start to work it. Root the right heel down. Feel how that kind of gives a little bit of lift. Kick the back shin down so forcefully that if the mat and the floor weren't there, the leg would straighten. Yeah, now let the pelvis settle from there. Ooh, but continue to dig the feet into the earth. Now take the arms up to the sky. Settle the pelvis, lift the ribs, lift the arms, maybe lift the gaze. And then release.
I found something that is helpful. Like if you let your actually contracting it.
If you,
that's important.
Say it again, to release the contraction of your belly.
So if you're here, it feels like you want to get out here, rather than contracting the muscles, the abs. Are you engaging your abs?
Not like forcefully. No, but enough that you're maintaining a relative neutral spine. Yeah, but then you could, you know, sometimes it is nice to approach a low lunge with a back bend, with a chest opener, you know, and in that case, you are releasing the abs more. But if I'm just upright, I'm not like contracting my abs. And that's, I wouldn't say that's a central part, but the midsection is still loosely active in the way that it's always loosely active to keep us upright. Does that make sense? Low lunge assist. Why don't you guys partner up with people? Yeah, partner up. At home, you're gonna have to do it on your own.
Okay.
With someone, pick a different partner, like move across the room. Oh, I know, it's so hard. Okay, good. Sorry, you guys, I didn't give you a break at this point. It doesn't make sense to give you one.
That's frustrating. I'm never muted here.
Partner up. And one of you do high lunge start. And I want the other one to look at it, to give verbal and hands-on assists. If you're at home doing your high lunge, come into your high lunge, feel or imagine where you might have a cyst, where you might get sloppy in the body, where it might be important to bring your awareness. High lunge back to yeah. I'll make it. Balancing, so don't knock them over.
Should I be like here?
Yeah, give your person something to look at. He looks perfect.
So.
What was that? What was that? Which part of you order one? Try it at home, test your order one. John, I like seeing you do it. Thank you.
Now we're switching.
Where's actually hard for me still? No, where did you?
So, great job doing your eye. So we'll start by bringing the back heel.
Like I want to be like, oh, yes. The shoulder soft.
Doing low lunge now.
Ankle.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, and see how it was really right, hip a little bit, looking to drop a little.
We're gonna come back together in just like 1 second. Thanks for being patient.
Oh, good. It's great.
So much better now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, from your.
All right, come on back to your mat.
That's easy.
I want to ask, hi, you're right behind me. I'm here. I want to ask how that went, but we only have 15 minutes, and I also want to do one more thing. I think we should do one, yeah. Nice job getting your hands on other people's bodies, playing with it, seeing with it. We're gonna work on this a lot more. So with these things, I would encourage you as you're doing your yoga in the next couple of weeks, like pay attention to your alignment, pay attention to your legs, pay attention to your feet. If you ever come to my classes, like I feel like all I do is talk about the feet, like especially the back foot. I'm like, ground it down, keep it digging down, drill it down, like, because it's so easy to forget about it. And then the whole rest of the pose kind of collapses. Yes.
Question about us all giving assists during the class.
Yeah.
With all the like verbal cues, this is gonna get really loud.
You have to like really work on your volume.
Okay.
And it's weird. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. Or if you're like, you have to like do a little bit of the physical cues too. It's not easy, but you'll do it. You'll crush it. One thing that I want to address, and I don't want to address it now, but I'm just kind of flagging it for next time, is as teachers, as we're giving an assist, it's so important to protect our own bodies, right? So it's easy to like see something down here and be like, oh, and yet like my knees and my back and blah, 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 or to like kneel down on the hard floor for an extended period and all of a sudden my knees hurt as I'm giving support to someone else. So it's something, you know, when we're doing all these assists, we think about also maintaining our posture, also maintaining our core engagement. Also, you know, making sure that we have a blanket so that when we're here doing something, we have our protected knee. We can talk about that more with specific poses, but I just want you to like think about that as well. Like how, you know, it's like, there's so much to think about and yet eventually you won't even have to think about it. But each time it's like, what am I doing? What am I offering? How am I going in and how am I protecting myself as well? These are all
Cool.
like split-second decisions that you make. What I want to do in our last 15 minutes, and it's going to be fast, but I promised Pete I would, is Savasana assists.
Perfect timing.
This is a volunteer. You have been on the all right. So just remember that like sometimes I, as a teacher, will opt never to give a Savasana assist because your eyes are closed or because the room is so packed that if I'm in here working on her body, I might be a distraction to someone else. And yet, who doesn't love a good Savasana assist? So some things to think about. It's a lot less intimate to work on the lower body, right? You're not all in her space. So I might come, can you guys see, spin, yeah. I might come, I'm protecting my body, right? I'm not collapsed. I might come and just kind of gently take her legs and traction her legs out of her spine. It might include a little sway. Does that feel okay?
It might include a little sway. I have a friend who teaches yin yoga, and she literally just like holds here forever.
Nice.
I love it, right? It could be bringing the feet down and then just kind of like giving a little bit of like, a little bit of pressure into the foot, almost like a little mini foot massage, but I just like a little bit of inner arch. More intimate assists and also kind of fun ones. You okay with standing over your body and doing this? So this is one that Pete loves. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to take hold of this arm and I'm going to kind of pull her. You're just like lazy. You don't do anything. I'm going to pull her over to the side. I'm going to take my hand underneath her shoulder blade and then gently place her arm back down. I only have this small one. Yeah, and then I'm going to cup her shoulder girdle with this opposite hand and then cue her to take a deep breath in. And then exhale. And as she exhales, I'm kind of drawing the shoulder down from the back and gluing this side forward. Does that feel okay? That's awesome. And I'm going to do it again on this side. So I'm going to crumb across, opposite hand to her wrist. I'm going to pull her over and create that clearance for my hand. I'm going to take her shoulder. I'm going to draw her back down. Gently place the arm down. We're not like releasing the arm to hit the ground. I'm going to place my hand here again. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, I'm going to give that little spin. Sorry about your hair there. And then sometimes it doesn't kind of like land or symmetrically. So I might just like take the hands back down. I might spread the hands wide. Sometimes it could be really nice to add weight to the palms. Right? I don't have another blanket, so I'm not going to do it and get like a half-ass of this. Other things, take that blanket now. Other things you could do are come behind her head and offer a little tractioning. So I know, right? So it might just be like hands. It could be so subtle. It could be like hands coming up the neck. Move if you can't see. And then finding this occipital ridge, that junction between her neck, right? Find the occipital ridge on your body, the neck and the skull. Just encouraging a little bit of length there. It could be taking the head over to one side. Pete loves this. I don't do this, but it might feel good. I'm just giving a little stretch alongside the neck. Does that feel okay?
Sorry, not sorry.
You were patient. You waited. Balance again, just a little bit. Back to center and find that balance. Right. It could be as simple as like, whew, thumb to third eye. It could be a little bit of like, ooh, broadening that brow space or a little massage in the temple. Keep do something with feet on shoulders.
I've not seen him do it.
Yeah,
but-
it's on the sheet. I personally wouldn't do it. It's a little like already straddling someone is a lot for me. So we're gonna spare off of that one. Yeah, so let's just go over those again really quickly. Stay where you are, relax your body. Be tractioning the legs. Be that little external rotation and a little pressure in the inseam in the arch, the inner arch.
But you're not really grabbing her ankles though.
Here I was before. I was just kind of doing here I was grabbing her ankles and giving that length. Right. I'm sorry, your feet are off the mat now. Yep. This other one, just to refresh, grabbing hand with opposite or grabbing wrist, giving that little pull.
Now, are you
lifting
going
it
under the
up.
shoulder
I'm
blade?
going under the shoulder blade. I'm leaving my hand there as I bring her back down. This is all hard for my very short-limbed body. Placing this other hand here, watch the boob, take a full breath in. Exhale, find that external, like, whoo, pulling the shoulder blade down, shoulder down. I'm not going to even you out. I'm so sorry. Actually, we'll just even you out because we're nice. Arm down. Sorry. Inhale. And then there's head tractioning. We're gonna play with it, right?
your head. And I'm gonna make you get up and try this on somebody else. Yeah.
It says on the nose that you should avoid breathing on them. So are you like?
I can hear it, I can feel it a little bit, and I can't smell you.
That's good. I'm a little self-conscious now. I mean, yeah, if I'm, I'm gonna over exaggerate here. Like if I'm doing head scratching, I'm not gonna get right up here. And I'm also gonna like kind of probably turn my head. And that also keeps me aligned and attuned with what's happening in the rest of the classroom. I'm here with her, but I'm also still here with the rest of you. Yeah. Partner up, new partner. Let's try this. You are free.
Thank you.
And it could be so simple, right? It could just be like a grounding touch on the head. And we don't have a lot of time, those of you at home.
Can we just go to bed then?
Why don't you just come into Savasana?
I'm kidding. I'm
Twist
kidding.
my arm, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Long time, yeah, you're welcome.
Do you want to use this now? Okay, okay, great.
If someone here is. And as you're going through, if you have questions, let me know. Come on. First time.
I'm gonna help you scooch. I'm gonna have you scooch up. Yes. That's the last thing you know to do.
Remember, you guys as assistees, stay grounded, keep breathing. Right, and know that what you're offering is helpful. It feels nice, it's relaxing.
That feels great.
You know, as now, you can actually
So you actually strap.
Okay.
Right? So then this hand is gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
And then you
I think she was doing things.
Switch partners, if you haven't already, if you're at home, it's just like laying in the melted puddle of Savasana, enjoy.
Savasana. I don't remember all of it. Gotta be in the plants.
Is it okay? Yes. Okay, are there certain things that you would want? Okay, well then I'll just try. Particularly, I don't know into this.
So I did. You have it like a representative this a lot.
It's not starting out well.
That's my favorite.
Oh, that's sister's.
Ground yourself before you go in. Breathe.
Ground.
Oh, and just stay grounded, stay present.
That's awesome.
I was the one, I could, I would like to, I wanted to. I'm probably not gonna do it, I'd like to try.
Sweaty and it's slippery.
This person who's doing this, and she can breathe too. I think that's part of it, and you have to make sure that your grip is
Oh, good question.
steady enough, and you're not gonna like lose the grip.
Should I do it?
Oh, great.
Well, so I did what you're doing, but they stand.
You know, and I do kind of. Like never occurred to me, ever.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's straddled.
Yeah, I was standing at one for
Both, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I swear to God.
You're doing this one?
Especially, like, you don't know. I don't know what touch is or anything. And I try the neck extension one, but.
You're right here. I feel pretty good. I have a lot of rain. Using my hands. Also, I was using hands on my just. Yeah.
But. I don't know.
Okay, hasta mañana.
Don't know.
It really is. Like today.
Let's come back to center.
I like how you push this at the same time as raising the other, I do that.
Thank your partner. Thank yourself for getting a big long Savasana at home.
Thank you.
All right, come to your mat. How, without a whole lot of words, what did that feel like to be assisted and to assist?
Yeah.
So hard.
So hard to do.
That's what I said, like it's work, thank you. No, at the end I was like, and then repeat that to 20 others.
And just like being like, I don't wanna hurt you, and like, I know how much pressure I would like, but like, I have no idea your body and your, like, I'm like, am I just gonna rip your hair?
So, you know, we didn't really do any poses today, unfortunately, and I apologize, but we'll do like downward dog and some forward folds and things next time that are a lot more, and like pigeon that are more like pressure based. And if you remember that, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in terms of pressure, it's a little bit like that with the head tractioning too. It's like we start slow and it's like, what's there and where's that resistance? Like we're not like yanking. It's like, okay. And even sometimes like the most subtle amount of length feels so good in the body. So less can be more for sure.
Reaching over the, grabbing the shoulder or the wrist. And then having your other arm in the way. Like my other arm was in the way.
Sure. I will say that is
I
one
remember how to
that
do
takes
it.
practice, and I find it's very hard to do. I'm like kind of a short-limbed person. If I'm dealing with someone with really long limbs, it can feel really challenging for me. I would say it's one that like keep practicing it. You guys have these opportunities, just like practice, 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 and then later you're like, oh, I don't like it. It doesn't work for me, or I love that, and I'm going to change it this way so it works better or it feels better in my body. Other thoughts as we wrap up? I want to get you off on time. I know it's a weeknight. All of us have responsibilities, let's say.
There's positive feedback, like the more we practice with you, the more I feel confident with cueing and understanding what it is.
Yeah. It's a lot of information I knew I threw at you today, and it's not even information, but it's like the alignment and the spine and like I think one thing is just be okay in like absorbing as much as you can absorb, remembering like little key things. You don't have to remember everything, but maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to play with that hip alignment in my lunges this week as I go in through classes. Oh, I'm going to pay attention to how teachers assist or what language they use around me. And start like, create an awareness and a context for this where you're just paying attention. You're paying attention to your body, you're paying attention to your classes that you're in. And don't like it, you don't have to like memorize or know it all. Like I want it to feel intuitive. And we have 2 more full sessions that are assists. And then we have 2 that are alignment that are, anatomy, which, there's so much overlap. So we have 4 more sessions. It's just the beginning, for better or worse, depending on how you feel. I want to get you out on time. So let's just sit for like 5 breaths, cross your legs, sit up tall, find whatever is a comfortable seat for you. Close your eyes. Just take a moment and sit grounded, sit tall. And take like 3 breaths here to imagine what an assist in this pose might look or feel like in your body. What would you want a teacher to come up and offer to you in a pose like this? Right, and it doesn't have to have language or words. Just feel that from the inside in your body. Poof, let that go, hands to heart. Oh, let's share in a breath. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. And then take the thumbs up to the forehead and take another big breath in. And we bow in gratitude to each other, to the practice, to the space, to ourselves. Thank you for your focus. We'll have a lot of time to build on all of that. Go home, drive, ride, walk, stay. And in like 2 minutes, let's put this room back together online.
Thank you so much.
I so encourage you to be in person next time. I know the rain made it hard.
I just skipped out.
I just go inside and eat.
Thank you so much.
So welcome.
It was wonderful. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.